A chance to make history and a chance to be remembered. The State League Grand Final is uncharted territory for Burnie and Launceston.
I haven't played a lot of finals football and yeah, pretty excited to get out there and it'll be my first grand final, so looking forward to it.
Obviously, a lot of the boys are pretty anxious and nervous, but looking forward to the challenge ahead, and it's been a really good week.
It's almost been the perfect season for the Blues, capped last week by a victory over the reigning premiers. But the one team that's found a chink in their armour is the team they'll face today. The Dockers are in rare form and they fear no one.
We know we've got to play well to beat a side that's peaked at the right time.
They're a class outfit. They pride themselves on their skill, their hardness, and they've got talent all over the field.
It's the battle for Tasmanian football's ultimate prize, and it's an all-northern affair. It's Burnie versus Launceston, live from York Park. Good afternoon and welcome to the biggest afternoon in Tasmanian football. It's the State League Grand Final. David Lithgow, you've been observing the build-up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, massive. It's been 18 rounds of waiting for this, and it's an all-northern final, which does excite us. And Burnie have come up here in droves. It's a wonderful day. I mean, the crowd looks fantastic. It's hard to know what it's going to be. 7,500, 8,000 is what they're certainly hoping here, but the conditions are perfect. There's a little bit of wind, and I'm not sure what to tip.
No, it's a bit of a tough one. We should just mention just quickly to our viewers back home, Andy Bennett couldn't be with us this afternoon. Would dearly have loved to be here. Got a feeling he was leaning towards the Blues. Just quickly, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so he was. Yeah, 24 points, Andy. Myself, I'm a bit the same. Launceston by about 3 goals, but I've changed my mind with the last 5 minutes.
Well, we've heard it from the experts. We better quickly cross down to the boundary line. We've got a couple of other experts, Tim Hazel and Brett Jeeves. You've got some news on the Tassie medal.
We do, and boys, it is a sensational day down here. The medal was won by Timmy Briscoe from Launceston. What a great result.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise, I guess. Cameron Thurley had an amazing season also, but a great start for Timmy Briscoe and Launceston.
Now, I'm backing Launceston. I love their speed, I love their structure. Who are you seeing?
I'm going dead against you, Timmy. I like Burnie's bigs, Laycock and Lee. I think we'll get the job done today, but huge game, no doubt.
Huge game. I caught up with Anthony Taylor and Brent Plant before the game and asked them about what they're expecting.
Yeah, most certainly we can win. I think the preparation that we've had leading into the last couple of weeks on top of our last month of football, it really holds in good stead to a good result.
It's a luxury having Lee and Laycock as your twin towers. They're hard to match up on. How are you going to use those boys today?
Yeah, no different to what we have in the past. Tim, it's the situation for those guys, they work their backsides off. Jason's going to work his backside off in the ruck. He's going to go forward at some stage, to try and stretch them. That's what we've been doing with him all year. He knows his role, and he knows his role pretty much the same. He's one guy that hits up and covers a lot of territory. So if their output's going to be the same as, or if not a little bit better than what they have put out the last few weeks, we'll be okay.
It's been fascinating watching you boys get to here. All the best for the game.
Appreciate it, thank you.
I was a bit nervy during the week at different times, but just can't wait. Beautiful day. Colts have just got the job done first up, so really good feeling around the place this week, and let's hope we can finish off what's been a good year.
Obviously a big win against Clarence last week. That would have given you some confidence. Tell us a little bit about last week and the week leading into today's game.
Yeah, look, Burnie sparked us into life a couple of weeks ago, and we knew we had to change some areas of attitude and effort, and that's what finals footy's about, is doing the basic things, the basic fundamentals better than the opposition, and they were our focuses last week, and we did do that, and we was able to come away with a good win, and today's no different. The intensity lifts, but you've got to be able to do the basic fundamentals of the game better than the opposition.
We're looking forward to watching it. All the best.
Thanks very much, Timmy.
Some great words from the coaches there. We are just about underway in season 2011, the grand final. Umpire of the year, Ben Leonard, to lay the football down. Commentator of the year, David Lithgow, to open proceedings.
And they've got the big guns right in the middle. O'Donoghue straight down to Scotty Stevens initially. Interesting matchups there, Monday and Bristow. But Shackleton with the first clearance out, kicks along in the Stevenson direction, the veteran. Played a lot of finals footy, queued up today, Jesse Lonigan, so good last week. He's taken down at a wonderful tackle. Free kick early. So Burnie with an opportunity here. The kick-in board from Hislop's a beauty. Ball leaky, spilt what he should have taken. Clever enough to balance up. Shot to the top of the square. Geez, a good mark by Baldock. Really good start by Baldock, and he'll have the first shot on goal.
Gee, got to love the intensity there from the Burnie forwards. That tackle on Lonigan. And how about Bulldogs' work? He's dangerous, isn't he?
No doubt about that. Timmy Hazel's joined us. Timmy, it's a fiery start's really good, but just as we will get this kick on here, Bulldog for the perfect start for the Dockers.
To finally get up here and be amongst it.
It's good to have you up here, Tim, and a great start from the Dockers. Just what they would have wanted. Get the feeling the start was going to be almost more important for Burnie today.
I think you're right. I mean, because everyone thinks Launceston just going to win this game of footy. I mean, you look at everyone's tips during the week. Tell me, we've been talking about it. Burnie need to get out the blocks, don't they?
And they did that. And Andy Lee and those two big boys up there in the forward 50 are going to cause some havoc.
They certainly will. So Laycock and O'Donoghue. I think O'Donoghue might have got that one going forward. Coming out, trying to get it going forward. It was Barrett who intervened. Now Banham in a tough spot. Just scrambled it forward. We see trying to get it going forward there was Stevens. So important last week. His first quarter was phenomenal. 14 touches and a goal. I'm sure the Dockers hierarchy were putting some work into him. As we see, the Zach Hislop loved his tackle on Lonergan only moments ago. He went back and let him know about it as well. The young Tyro's going at it. But it's Laycock getting it going forward. That's a good mark. Running back, Sam O'Keefe. Courage can never be questioned.
Left footy was terrific last week, O'Keefe. Well, this kicks interest into a hot spot. The Ellis come from the side, couldn't take the mark. Numbers now at the turf. G going in there. Molly were taken high. Robbie Fox, the umpire, said no. Stevens, they're busy as always with the clearances. Little one out the back. And Jordan Harris goes forward. Sonny Whiting set the place alight last week and he started well again.
He has, and they're playing him deep, which was a setup that the Launceston Blues went with last week, with Brian Finch moving out to centre half forward and using these young small whippets up there deep. So this is going to cause Burnie just to be a little bit exposed down there in their defence.
So Sonny Whiting, he kicked a couple from a tight angle last week. This from the opposite side, he leaves that one to the right-hand side. But a good start to him, one behind. It's 5 points. The total at York Park. Damien, the crowd's still building in, which is terrific. We see the numbers. Are we 8,000?
I think it's pushing 8. It is difficult. It's such a big ground, and they are spread out. I mean, you rarely see crowds on the other side of the ground. We've got that here this afternoon, so that's terrific. And it is a gorgeous day here in Launceston. You called it the home of Tasmanian football, Flash. I'm sure there'll be some viewers raising their eyebrows at that, but it certainly looks like it this afternoon as you see that kick from Damon Smith. He's let himself down there. Or was it Banham that was kicking? So inside, outnumbered there was Finch. He drew a crowd. Templeton working hard. The hand pass missed the target, but they've got numbers. And they'll bring it down the broadcast side. They're on here as a youngster, Brody Myercheck. A lot of excitement about him. He's had a couple of bounces. Needs to be careful. Gee, spilled it up. Here's Bristow, the Tassie medalist. Inside 50. They've got numbers over the back. Stevens was lurking. It may have been Whiting. In fact, it was. But the Dockers' defence holds firm.
What's interesting here is O'Donoghue. He couldn't take the mark. Ricky's starting to jump over the top of Laycock early. Good signs there for the big man. Out the back here, Jesse Lonergan. Handball to Bristow, being lively early. O'Keefe now just in the forward 50. Dangerous ball bouncing. Banham there with an opportunity. Did well. He just needs to hit a target here. Stays inside. Brett Jeeves down on the boundary line. Got some early matchups for us there, mate.
Yeah, Cade Monday's gone to Bristow, running with him around the grounds. Haven't seen too many others. It looks like that's the only tag. Banham playing deep in defence at this stage, but we'll keep an eye on him.
Laycock did well that occasion. Got it straight down to Monday. They're going to try and go forward here, but need some clean footy turnover. And Woolies there in turn to Lonergan. Now, this kick's important. They've got some space and they could break clear here. Runners for Harris. Now, the kick out in front here, attacking the footballs, McCabe. Clever enough to do well. Inside footy to Finch, who again up the ground.
Lays it off, McCabe just attack of the fumbles. Forced to kick the kick under pressure, and it's onto the chest of Darren Banham, who's seen plenty of the football early. The kick, though, again, very wide. Too wide, in fact, so just the disposal coming out at the moment from Burnie, a little bit wobbly there, Hayes.
What I was going to say, boys, we're 5 minutes into the game, very similar to last night's clash between Collingwood and Hawthorn. Boys are working hard, the skill level's not that high, so expect lots of rotation. That is a fantastic contest. That's what we're going to be seeing all game today.
Gee, could have almost been a whistle on the play on. So Rudy Barrett now, the left footer straightens up.
Gee,
they've got Baldock over the back. Big chance. Baldock takes the mark. We're going to go 2 goals in a row.
There's a free kick
Boys, Darren Benham's coughed it up here, lads. Darren Benham's given away a free kick. I'm not sure the goal's going to stand. It's on in the middle of the ground. Darren Benham ran past the player who was on the grounds, gave him one, and I'm not sure that goal will count.
No, it definitely won't count, I don't think, because it was 15 seconds, I reckon, before it happened. That was really silly, Benham. You've watched that there. They've just bowled through O'Donoghue. We'll just wait here now. We might get a look. That's the first incident there, Macca. And I don't know if we can have some footage here. They've just literally bowled through him. So that score won't count. That's a silly error by Benham on that occasion.
You know, and as a coach, you go into a game and you start planning your structures, and when little undisciplined acts start to creep in, as a coach, you have to be that frustrated. So this is a great opportunity for Launceston to score and to really stick it up Burnie.
I don't mind the fire here early, guys. This is terrific. It's a big intensity out here, Northern Final. Nathan O'Donoghue, we're just going to get a few tips for best on ground today. There's mine, Timmy. Just have a thought while we're going to go through the process here of O'Donoghue with a foray inside 50. The high flies, Laycock from the side, create the contest. Numbers now the forward up with Stevens. Left foot is not good off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, look, for mine, boys, I like Jesse Lonergan. I think he's a fantastic player. He's only young, he's built, he's ready to play AFL football, and I reckon give him a couple of quarters, boys, and he'll work his way into the game and find himself best on ground.
Gee, again, the Dockers' defence, they're kicking just out of their defensive 50 has been abysmal so far. That was Milverton on that occasion. Just sat it up. Kicking short to 50-50 is not the option in any game, let alone a grand final. So Laycock, Gronewegan did well, just with the left palm. There's some sharp work in there from Sinclair. And sharp, but it went out of play.
Boys, here's a question for you. Brian Finch, he's kicked over 100 goals this season, playing in the forward 25. What's he doing up the ground? Why would you play that?
It's a good question. So that was the free kick to O'Donoghue. I'm not sure that was necessarily there. But coming back to your point, well, I think it worked so well for them last week. It keeps the opposition guessing. No doubt Brian Finch will spend some time towards goal. We'll just call these players Templeton under pressure. Spills out to Laycock. On hands and knees, Hayes did well. Got to Shackleton, first touch. Gets it into the path of Monday. So the Dockers building something here. Now Monday wants Baldock, gets Baldock. Started well.
So Baldock, gee, nearly could have got a 52 on that occasion. 60 metres out. He's run very close to the man. The mark, the kick's not good. Off the inside step there, going forward. McCabe did okay over there with him as Rudy Barrett takes him over the boundary line. Jeevesy, your thoughts on best on the ground today? We've just got a straw pile going here. I think I'm in front at this stage.
Geez, I'm not sure, boys. There's just so many quality players out there at the moment. If I had to pick one, maybe Rowan Baldock might pop up with 5 or 6 today.
A couple of contested marks already to Baldock, been very lively. So Monday now with a kick in board. McKenna went back, and gee, that's a really good mark by Gronewegan back there.
Devissa.
It's actually Devissa. So good last week too. Wonderful kick too. He's found O'Keefe, the man with courage last week. Gee, just did some wonderful acts and one of the best going forward here. That little kick's a good one. So Bo Green in turn to Finch, who's taking the mark just inside 50. Very tight angle here, Timmy. Probably slightly raised range. He's going to play on pretty quickly here. So go from 55, and it's always narrow. One behind the total. So the pressure from Launceston very good. Burnie making a few mistakes, but it's pressure footy to start.
The one thing I like about what Burnie's doing is they're pushing all their players up, and then they're trying to break the line so they can get the ball quickly into their forward 50, catch the Launceston defenders out. It is working, but the scoreboard pressure hasn't been applied yet, but a very smart move by Brent Plant.
So the Dockers, they've had some problems getting it out of defence. It's Fox on this occasion driving it up the wing. O'Donoghue did well, brought it to ground. Now Myercheck got it to Laycock. Now the run of Banham. So Banham on that kick, terrific smother. Josh Woolley right in front of the broadcast here. So defensive pressure from both sides has been a feature. And whoever can withstand that pressure will get the advantage, you'd feel. There's Laycock again. Gee, met hard there was Hislop. Spills out the back to Walters. The kick, Banham in best position. Shepherd did well. Now Smith brushes off a couple. He's only young, but he's willing, Damon Smith. But on this occasion,
he's willing, but I'll tell you what, he's tough. I've seen him collect some boys, and those boys haven't got up too quickly, so watch out for him today.
Joey Boyce back in the team today with a little kick and ball. Not a good kick. Laycock so clever on the ground, did okay too. Handball to Walters. in turn. They're just going to go around the ground here and send Wish Wilson. So chip to chip, conservative footy, just trying to balance up here. I reckon the Dockers at the moment. That kick's dangerous to Hislop. Looking for a free kick, didn't get one. Lonigan at the bottom of the pack did okay. In turn now, Woolley, kick inboard, Groenewegen. In fact, it was Boyce. Kick to Groenewegen, so good last week as well. Kick inboard's dangerous. Numbers at the fall here. Wish Wilson be first in contest. Still a bit of pressure on. Smith did well. Handball, and they got some run here, the Dockers. Tackling hard. Gee, that last handball wasn't great. They might lock it in here. And the umpire will reload and will start again here. It's a 4-point lead early to the Dockers.
Jeevesy, just a quick one for you, mate. If you can keep us updated with the rotations, because of the warm weather, the strong contested ball down there, that would be a stat that I'd be interested in today.
Timmy, I can do. Just something of note. Launceston probably kicking with a 3-goal breeze here, so keep note of that.
Thanks for that, Jeeves. We saw it was Zach Hislop in the arms of the trainers there coming off the ground. It's that contested footy you mentioned, Tim. It's certainly fierce at the moment. And there's a free kick being plucked out. It's going the way of the Blues. Interesting about that breeze, isn't it? They'd want to make the most of it. First quarters, often in grand finals, teams can waste 10 or 15 minutes just settling. So Jordan Harris, back pocket in the team of the year, and drives it forward. Groenewegen and McKenna. This will be interesting. McKenna did well. Stevens in best spot. The skipper. And the kick lets himself down. Bread and butter stuff for Scott Stevens.
He's been a fantastic leader. Over the years, he's really stepped up to the challenges, and he would be just gravelling in today's contest.
So boundary line thrown, Laycock. She just fell short of both the big ruckman on that occasion. They're just a bit fumbly across the back line at the moment. Smith with the big body, very strong. Finch is tackling hard. I reckon he's rammed him in the back, and he has. So it'll be a free kick on the bottom of that pack is Brody Myercheck. One of the young stars here, 9 teenagers to the Burnie Dockers today, which is absolute testament to the way they're going. So he just goes for a little lope. It's quite a big lope, actually, in fact. Myercheck, let's have a look at the foot skills here. This is where they've been letting himself down in front of Monday again. He needs to sit here. Good on both sides of the booty, left footer. In turn, not a great kick. So they've got a bit of time here. Braden Hayes at the fall. It's going to go now to Banham. Can he take the mark? One bite, can't take the two. They lock him in here now. Interesting decision coming up here, pushing the bag. So it's a free kick to Banham. We know he's a goal kicker too. The last 6 weeks he's been terrific going forward.
Yeah, he doesn't have the biggest kick, loves a goal, and it's going to challenge him because he's going to be kicking right on 50 metres, but, you know, his season has been fantastic. He would have been in the sort of top 10 with that Tassie medal. I'm looking forward to seeing when those stats come out of who was actually in the top 10, but he's the player which brings heart and soul to a footy club, and he's going to bring heart and soul to a contest today, and it's a big kick for the little man with the long hair.
We'll get a good test and an indicator on the breeze here, I reckon. Sabana would kick from right on 50 metres. Just runs around a little bit. Opens up the angle. It's not a bad kick, but just floating away the right. I reckon Jeeves has got on the money there with his prediction now. There could be a free kick. No, it is. It's a throw. Going to go against Burnie. So a little reprieve here to the Blues, and they'll reload from the back pocket.
So it's Devissa in the back pocket. Steady hand down back. He just drives along. Now, Stevenson in the best position. He'll fly and almost bring it down. Shepherd did well at ground level. Bristow. Now it's with Shipton. And scrappy old kick. Favours Fox in there. And that's a good little hand pass. Shackleton, well, that's close to holding it. Terrific tackle from the Blues. Pressure from both sides has been a feature early. And going in over the top, going nowhere. It's McCabe at the bottom of that pack, I think. So another ball up. Low-scoring opening to this game.
Timmy, just on your rotations, mate. Already 7 to Launceston, 2 to Burnie, so well spotted there.
Excellent.
So the crowd getting involved. It spills to Stevens, starting to have an influence, and that's a telling kick onto the chest of O'Donoghue. Now, he's got Whiting on the burst. He's got a metre or two. Gee, terrific spoil coming from behind Walters. Loving that match-up early. Milverton now. So the Dockers to reload.
And they'll do throw through Wish Wilson, left footer. Needs to be good in Lee. Gee, made a metre too. Did well, took the mark. Inside 50 for Lee. Bulldogs in a good spot. Did well with a big body. Bustled out his opponent. Took a very strong mark. Looking very dangerous early.
Looking extremely dangerous. And he protected the space. And that's what a key forward is matched up on, is protecting that space, knowing where the ball's going to drop, having your opponent being able to flick him out of the way to take the mark, and that's exactly what happened on that occasion.
He's coming from a long way back here. It's certainly a long approach to Bulldog, but this for number 2. And he's done it. A couple to the Dockers.
Very often you see Gary Shipton get manhandled like that.
Yeah, very strong. He's not the conventional forward. We've talked about it all year. He's that mid-size, 185. He's only a 6-footer, but so strong. Big arms, big hands.
He's a butcher, boys. He's in there chopping meat day in, day out, and that's why he's nicknamed the Butcher. And the fact that you can throw him around sort of says that you can go all right in the gym. And David, you had no chance to throw him around ever.
I'm going to quickly apologise to Gary Shipton. He was standing the mark, but I actually don't think he arrived at that contest late. So we wait to see whether Bulldog can indeed throw him around. But the Dockers are off to a flyer. Got the opening 2 goals of the grand final against the wind. And it's Stevenson now in the ruck work. And this will be interesting. The big men rotating through the middle. Bristow finally controlled it. And that's a nice kick. Getting the ball to Finch, who's had his hands on the ball early, but not inside the forward 50. We've got Whiting, the target. He's leading out again. Got some space, Sonny Whiting. That's a good kick to the top of the square, but holding up well, Myercheck, the young 18-year-old, showing a cool head.
So Stevenson took the mark, a little handball in ball, and the kick down the line here. It's not good again. This is just, for all Burnie's good work, just falling it down across half-back, but they've got the early couple of goals, which is vital against this strong breeze. So kick in board now, Whiting again. Geez, quick and agile, isn't he? Takes a very strong mark. They almost need this goal, Timmy, I reckon.
They are desperate for a goal because they've been working so hard in the contested ball around the ground that a goal can really settle them down. They can just reinforce the confidence amongst a structure, and that's what Anthony Taylor's got in place. The fact that they haven't been doing the scoreboard pressure can sometimes limit a side's confidence. So this is a huge kick.
Milverton did everything to stop it on that occasion, but Whiting, can he get them off to a start with the first goal of the day? He can't. Leaves that one on the left-hand side. So the tale is the straight kicking. 3 points early to Launceston. A couple of straight goals to the Dockers.
Could be so important, those shots on goal early, just to settle the side. We've seen Bulldog do the job at one end, and at the moment, Sonny Whiting is getting his hands on the football, but really needs to convert. So Clay Hardy, and just drives it along the wing. Gee, outnumbered there was Lee. Pretty happy to see the ball out of play. There's Majak Meyer, who was quite good last week, I thought. Just his energy around the contest more than anything. And he's got a big job today going up against Laycock and Stevenson in the ruck. It'll be Laycock on this occasion. And just palms it down. Doing well there was Fox, although Stevens just stole it. And working hard, Ellis. Now Meyer on the left, driving it to the 50. Good contest there as the Dockers defenders arrive in numbers. Shackleton tracking it. It spills out the back to Thurlow. Green now, he'll want his left foot. He straightens up. Bo Green, the defender. Still can't get a goal, the Blues.
It's a tight tussle out there, boys.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it makes you want to get out there and play football, doesn't it, Damien? You want to get out there and kick that goal to be that player, just to sort of snap this, I suppose, hard period they're going through. But they'll persist, Launceston. That's why they're a champion team.
Sammy Ross's kick again to a dangerous area, but they're going to get out of this time. The Dockers, they're going to go forward here. It's an opportunity with a good contest in the end, but Redford just bodied out, but they're still going to end up here with Wish Wilson, left footer. Good tackling from behind. Bristow at the fall, went without the footy. Numbers now with the Dockers. Wish Wilson again, tackled well. Lost the footy, holding the ball, I reckon. And it is, O'Keefe's played on dangerously, but the umpire says no. Give it back as Darren Bannum takes him to the ground. O'Keefe didn't like that either. Little whack from behind. He might give away 50. He needs to be careful here.
Jeeves, you're pretty close down there. Can you get involved for us?
Yeah, I can call this for you. Darren Bannum took a massive dive then. There was definitely no free kick, but look, it's definitely on down here, boys. The crowd are right involved. I'm sitting in front of the Launceston section. I was going to go and say hello to the Burnie crowd, but they've bought their vuvuzelas again, and I'm taking no part in that.
We've noticed all over the Facebook websites, of course, the social networks. You're not a fan of those things. Of course, if you are listening at home, we'd love to hear from you too on Facebook and Twitter today. What's a huge day in Tasmanian football? Roar Stadium, looking at a picture. ABC Grandstand, it's an 8-point lead to the Burnie Dockers.
Jeevesy, there was talk during the week of some Darren Bannum face masks making an appearance. Have you spied any of those?
I'm going to go and find myself one for the quarter-time interview. So Good words, though. He's had a good start, Darren Bannum. He's fired up. He's certainly getting involved physically, which is what we expect from him.
Absolutely. So as play continues, see Stevens ran into his teammate there, almost caught one high, and Thurlow bundled out of play. Robbie Fox had him. And in the shade of the grandstand there, I dare say there might be Launceston supporters just a little bit subdued at the moment. I'd love to see the team get on the board here in the first term. They're certainly in the contest in general play. Just the finishing at the moment as Shackleton bullocking. G works hard. Hand pass back. Myercheck now dragged off the footy. Umpire eventually called the free kick, I thought. Gee, they were away to the Blues.
He's been very good, Brody. It's a huge challenge for him. He's on the Tassie centre stage, if you like, and you know, he's up against men, and it's a great opportunity for 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds to come out and perform. And so far, Brody's been very consistent with Burnie's defence.
All-Australian under-18 player, of course, and this kick driving long. Laycock had it fisted away. Working in close there, Fox socket away from him. Harris laying the tackle. Plenty of players around this footy. Fox again, so they get it forward inside their 50. It's Radford tracking the ball. Gee, almost could have been a free there as Woolley does well. Gets it out wide to Savage. The Blues are out of trouble.
Bit of a task here for Sonny White. He's got a couple of chasers here for the Dockers, and it's a turnover again, so the foot skill's a bit sloppy from both sides, but the mark ends up here. Could be a 50 they're asking for, but Casey Radford, he'll have another shot on goal here, so a little bit cleaner going forward in a sense, aren't they, the Dockers at the minute?
They are, and they've got an open forward line. We spoke about that before, and if they can just get the ball in cleanly and quickly, they can really do some damage. And when you've got strong marking forwards, just like Casey here lining up for Burnie's third, they can do some damage in today's contest, especially in the first quarter, and we know how important first quarters are.
Casey Radfield kick from about 45 metres out. Against this slide, Parisi just holds up a bit more over the top, trying to punch through. Still numbers, little opportunity here, Slop. Did well to keep his feet, got a handball out, but it's a turnover. In turn now, they'll run it out through Jordan Harris, but he wasn't quite clean enough to keep the fee there. Lonigan did okay, steady the ship, and Launceston away.
So a little bit wobbly at the moment, the Blues, but they've got themselves out of trouble. That'll boost Groenewegen confidence there, some good hands. And he's just the backward side of the wing. Gee, interesting hand pass to Meyer. Gee, again, they've coughed it up, so now it's with Hislop, who just wheels around. Baldock's got a couple to beat, and in the end, no chance. Shipton read it well and spreads it out wide to O'Keefe. And he's just held up here by Fox on the mark. Goes short, finds his man in McCabe. Plenty of left-footers in this Launceston lineup. They do love to shout around. They generally use it pretty well as O'Keefe kept running. So just a stop-start approach here from the Blues, looking to hold on to the football and try and set something up through the middle. That's where it goes now. Dangerous kick, Green. They've turned it over again. So Burnie, their persistence is paying off, although now it's with Whiting. And they've got numbers forward of the football now, so streaming through the middle, it's Woolley, the left footer. He could kick their first goal. Josh Woolley, the defender, finally gets the Blues on the board.
What a great finish. What a great build-up. It was contested, it was hot, it needed good skill. Launceston didn't panic, even though there was a couple of little fumbles there along the way, but Josh Woolley just working hard, following up the ball, saw the opportunity, grabbed it, and just finished sensationally on that trusty left foot of his. And I love seeing defenders, boys, run up the ground, taking him on, backing in their confidence and finishing, and Launceston desperately needed that, and that was a great start for the Lonnie Blues.
There's no doubt about that. Foot skills have certainly been off a bit un-Launceston-like. I think it's a fair way to call. Going forward, they haven't hit a lot of targets. This will show where Burnie sloppy down back in a sense, but they've gone forward and hit some targets. To Launceston just knew that was Shackleton, so big and strong, isn't he? Did really well to get a handball going forward. Monday and Bannum, a couple of the veterans couldn't prize at the footy. Numbers at the fore here, working hard. Chris Savage. They just eventually prized it out almost. Ellis did well, left footer forward. McKenna did okay, just to spoil it from behind, but still an opportunity. They're tackling hard, Bo Green, Shackleton, strong, hard, couldn't get the footy clean. Nice little play away here. Well, almost taking a mark, and he'll go here, Harry Walters, along the line, but another turnover. So, numbers here with Gene Savage. Kick in board to Bristow, did well, took a mark. Handball inboard. Chris Savage. He's tackled. Bristow needs to follow up. Marjak Myers at the back. He'll look for a handball, but the tackling's really good. Umpire's decision, give it to me.
Boys, a great move by Launceston. They've put the Hudson goal kicker back there deep in the forward 50, Brian Finch. They're trying to open it up. They're trying to do what Burnie's been doing. Look out for Finchy to fire up.
Yeah, good call, Hayes, as Damon Smith taking it away for the Dockers. And it's Monday driving it forward. Radford's long lead did well. I rode him off about 10 metres from that foot. He didn't think he could get to it, but he found a yard. He wants Baldock again. Gee, he's almost taken on the second bite. DeVis has got his hands full there. Baldock finds it on ground level, 3-on-1, working hard. Gee, he's done well, waiting for support to arrive. Finally, numbers went out, Shipton. But I reckon he's done enough there, Baldock, that the Blues just couldn't run it out. And there it is, quarter time. It's the Dockers kicking the opening 2 goals. Launceston getting one late. 2 points the margin at quarter time in the 2011 Grand Final. Flash your thoughts.
It's one of those interesting. I guess it's a typical grand final, is it, Timmy? Because right across the ground for both sides, there's been a lot of pressure, a lot of missed kicks, haven't they? Tackling hard. The just difference is going forward. I think Burnie look a little bit more open, don't they? Baldock's been dangerous. We haven't seen, I guess, a lot of influence yet from Laycock or Lee, for that matter. Lonnie have had a lot of shots on goal, but they just wasted it going forward. Haven't hit a lot of targets. In defence, I reckon, for Burnie, has been really strong. Burnie's defence has been fantastic. They're very young, but they've really held up to Launceston's pressure. But I suppose whenever you look at finals football, it's never a clean brand of football for the first quarter or two. And last night really set the scene, I think, for all football lovers, that it's hard, it's fierce, and if you can just stick to the structure and stick to the game plan that you've taken into the game, that's who's going to win the game. And Collingwood did that last night. I think Launceston's very similar to Collingwood at the moment, and Burnie's almost a little bit of Hawthorn, just playing with a little bit more flair, have a little bit more to play for because they're the underdog. But at the end of the day, I've absolutely loved the first quarter.
Absolutely, Tim. It's been fierce. It's been contested. It hasn't always been pretty. Rowan Baldock with 2 goals looks dangerous every time he goes near it. Would have had a third. It wasn't for an infringement against Darren Banham. As we go through the stats, Brody Myercheck's work down back has been a feature, as has Harry Walters. Baldock there, just the 1 kick. Well, that can't be right. He's kicked 2 goals. Damon Smith with 5 touches. Wish Wilson's been busy. Shackleton's done some bullocking work, but hasn't found a lot of space. Monday, on the other hand, uses it well by foot, and that shows with the 5 kicks. So we flip over. O'Keefe, well, he's a bit of the opposite for Monday, isn't he? Like for like, likes to use it by foot. Harris has had plenty of work to do down back. Bristow's been busy, the Tassie medalist. Whiting should have done more with his touches.
They've done well at Scotty Stevens too. They've really identified him, as most teams do, because he was blistering in that first quarter last week, Timmy. Just looks dangerous, but only the 5 touches early for him. Brian Finch too, he's coming out again, which is interesting. I wonder, like you mentioned, Timmy, is this going to change as the game goes on? Will Brian Finch play a bit deeper?
So as we see, we'll come back to that in a moment. Rowan Baldock and his ability to mark, he plays a lot taller than what his stats suggest. Doing it again there. So opening 2 goals of the game to Burnie. Launceston had their chances, but you just sort of felt, gee, if they don't get one before quarter time, they won't be feeling that great about themselves. But then Josh Woolley, the defender, this is a cracking goal, by the way. Got around 1, has a bounce, backs himself in and gets the finish when he needed it.
It was a really important goal, and if you look at the match statistics, you know, Launceston have had a lot more of the ball in terms of kicking the ball. They haven't been hitting their targets. Handballs, Burnie have got the upper hand there. Marks is a really interesting one, 23-15. Inside 50s, pretty even for this stage of the game. Hit outs, obviously the tall timber is just got the edge over Launceston. No 50-metre penalties so far, which is a good thing, and centre breaks, Launceston has the advantage.
Yeah, it's certainly been an even opening term. I reckon the Dockers had the best of the first 10-15, and then Launceston slowly worked their way back into it. You can see plenty of supporters getting around both huddles at the moment. That's the Burnie huddle. Instructions flying left, right and centre. I'll be reasonably happy with what they've produced in the opening term. Certainly won't be patting themselves on the back too much, but their defence stood up well. They've got a winner up forward in Baldock. They've got Shackleton and Monday getting their hands on the football. And in a moment, we'll be able to bring you what Brent Plant has to say to his troops. Generally keeps things pretty calm, Brent Plant. I don't think we're going to see any pyrotechnics just yet. Be interesting to see as the match unfolds. Both coaches under so much pressure. It's a big day for them as well.
One thing,
I'll have a listen now.
Okay, going into this second quarter, is the fact that we are taking the football great, we're moving it forward great. On the rebound, fellas, they're cutting us up. Okay, we've got to run both ways. We've got to run both ways hard. Okay, because from our back half, okay, from our forward line, their back half, they are just spreading us so easily, too easily. Right, we've got nobody coming up from behind to put pressure on them. Okay, backs, great job. All right, accountable. Milvo's going to get away from you. You just got to be patient with him, mate. So you've learned a bit out of the first quarter. Use that now. Okay, so he's not going to get an easy kick. All right, it's all okay. It's good. One thing that's not going to last with them is their physicality at the contest. Okay? Bristow's not going to go in there and get the physical ball. When we see him going for the footy...
He may be the Tassie medalist, Tim Bristow, but the Dockers, not a whole lot of respect being shown there. Flash, what are your thoughts?
Well, I guess he's not known for his inside footy, Tim. He really is. But I tell you what, he's still been pretty good. Very dangerous, Tim Bristow, every time he goes near the footy. But, oh, well, best players in the competition. Everyone can pot anyone. And Brett Plant, again, very measured, isn't he? Very measured, very calm, very structural. We'll hear Jeeves' thoughts very shortly about what Ian Taylor said. But you just know what you get with Brett Plant, week in, week out.
Yeah, he's almost an educator. He's almost got that teacher-like coaching style, and a little bit like Paul Roos. Doesn't rant and rave, but when he does, you listen and you really take note of what he's saying. And I've really got to know him a little bit this season, down on the boundary, interviewing before games, and I've really enjoyed the way he's educating his players. I think having a young list in a young defence especially, they've really stood up and really take to his advice.
Yeah, he certainly didn't push the panic button there with Brenton Milverton. Said, you've still got the job on Sonny Whiting and we'll back you in now. Brett Jeeves, you've been down to the Launceston huddle. Have you got some news for us?
Yeah, boys, with Paul McKendrick, thanks for your time, mate. Pretty clear message there, back to basics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we rate ourselves as a one-on-one side. We do it really well. When we're playing our game and playing a good game of footy, we play really well one-on-one, and they try to drop numbers back on us, so we just got to make sure we're right around the ground. We're back to that one-on-one, real basic stuff, get the ball going. We knew the pressure would be on early, and we'll start rolling, hopefully, in our favour.
Cheers, mate. Good luck with the rest of it. Thanks, boys.
Good on you, Jeevesy. Thanks very much to Paul McKendrick, assistant coach of the Launceston Blues. A little bit of work to do, I reckon, the Blues early. They're not panicking, but they're just not clean.
I was going to say, they don't have to panic. They've just got to stick to their structure, stick to their guns. And you'll see the game open up now. And the game's going to come down to fitness. It's going to come down to rotations. And it's going to come down to matchups. And if they can be in front in all those three areas, they're going to win the game. And, boys, I've had a text from Andy Bennett. He said Burnie by 15 points.
He's changed his mind.
I had a text from Andy just a couple of minutes ago saying, I forgot to put it in. Here it is.
Wow. Well, we've had plenty of activity on the social media. Brent Plant is just driving the message home there, keeping the boys in for a long time. But Big Eagle 09 is on Twitter. He thinks Burnie could be further in front. They might regret that reversed goal. And that's a fair point, because that extra goal that would have gone to Baldock that was reversed, very important.
Oh, another one coming through here from a fella on the Gold Coast, Richard Barringer, and he's asking the question, what happens if the game's a tie? That's a very good question. Thanks, Richard, for that.
We keep playing. We're not doing it next week. We just keep going.
So how long?
We'll get back to you on that one.
We booked in here tonight, Rick. Let's hope we are, because that would be a fantastic result. Thanks for all the Twitters.
Boys, quick one from the Gold Coast Suns. Luke Russell, one of the superstars, ex-Burnie boy, he texted me. He said the boys are going to win it today, and Luke was wanting to wish all the boys well.
Terrific to see. He played some good games for the Dockers in the first year of the State League. Luke Russell is a very exciting prospect, and had a good year with the Suns as well, didn't he?
He had a sensational year and enjoying his time up there, and these conditions are just like we're up on the Gold Coast.
And, of course, Maverick Weller played 15 goals his first season, so they've got some good kid. And you just can't help but think 9 teenagers here, Burn. We've talked about big kids. It's an interesting question. How many kids out of this grand final here will get drafted? Certainly this year, Jesse Lonergan perhaps the next year. So and plenty of good talent, no doubt about that. ABC Grandstand, second quarter action here with us now, Damien McIver.
2 points the margin, and it'll be the Dockers kicking with a slight breeze on a perfect afternoon here at York Park. And the two best teams in the state locked in an intense battle, as getting the first kick away there. The second term was Harris onto the chest of Fox. Just held it long enough. It's been so important, Robbie Fox, one of the real improvers in this Burnie lineup. His last month, along with the rest of his teams, has been outstanding. And the kick out wide to the run of Templeton. So the fullback can go for a bit of a run, drives it inside 50. It's not a bad kick either. Gee, Baldock couldn't quite. Could have been hands in the back perhaps, but doing well, the Launceston defence. Harris gets it to the run of Sinclair, and he'll want his left foot. Didn't have much to kick to, so he gets around Barrett. He's got some pace and usually uses it well over the back. Gee, Finch has got a couple to beat. Spills to the back. Working hard inside there with Shepherd. There's runners going past, couldn't get it to Green. And the Dockers have held up well through Shackleton.
Shackleton with the big body, always been effective around the clearances. Not a great kick in that occasion. McKenna's got some work to do. Shipton's tackling. Over the shoulder. Bit lucky there, Nick McKenna. Gareth Shipton certainly making up for, well, I guess he didn't have a great game last week, frankly, and he was probably one of the only ones that didn't, Gareth Shipton, but he's had some great tackles early on today. So forward here, Laycock's found himself a bit of space. He flips a handball in turn. Stevenson at the toes, did okay. Wish Wilson now kick forward, but dropping in. Nathan O'Donoghue taking a good mark.
Wish Wilson's, what a fantastic story. Played for Devonport last year in the grand final and has found himself with Burnie playing in another grand final. Has been very good so far, as we see Fraser Thurlow just down there in the halfback flank. He's another emerging talent. Going to look forward to watching him over the next 12 months.
Certainly will. Look forward to watching Jackson Thurlow as well.
Jackson, sorry boys.
No, it's good. As it's a good nickname for him, as the Blues work themselves into a little bit of bother. They still haven't quite settled, I don't reckon, the Blues. Certainly the pressure from Burnie has contributed to that. Now Bristow.
Oh, good
That's
hands.
a nice hand pass. Frees it up now for the comeback kid in Boyce. And Whiting stretching, couldn't mark. And, oh, interesting one there, chopping the arms. So Milverton just can't take a trick at the moment. He's working hard. Whiting at the moment looking dangerous. Now it just kicks to space. Now that's not really a good kick because, gee, lack of talk there. Wish Wilson's been cleaned up. He's barely moved on the deck. Terrible moment there for the Dockers. It spills now to Whiting. Can he keep it in play? He does. Pressure there on Boyce. He ducked ahead. Back to Shepherd. Stevens now kicks to the top of the square. Best position McKenna had a couple to beat. Ball loose at ground level. McKenna, gee, almost threw that one. Spills now. Groenewegen, the big man. Wow.
Well, that was terrific, Timmy.
What a fantastic finish. And I'm just looking at Sam Wish Wilson, and he has not moved. He's in the hands of the trainer. It was a sickening blow. It was a blow that you could see was about to happen. And both boys, give them full credit. They had eyes fixed on the ball. But back to Launceston, that was just a sensational finish, and one that they desperately needed because they're just working and working and working. And Launceston's almost playing like a bunch of blue collars at the moment. They're just working as hard as they can.
Timmy, that was certainly the message from Coach Taylor at the quarter-time huddle there. He said that we know we've got the skills over Burnie, but on a day like today, finals and the pressure, we need to go back to our basics, play that sort of blue-collar footy that you just mentioned. So another good call from you, Timmy. You're onto it today.
Thanks, Jeevesy. I've been pumped up for today's game because finals football is just what it's all about, David.
No doubt about it. We'll just see that incident there on Wish Wilson, which was a little bit nasty. Let's hope that he's pulled up okay to that Laycock. Just starting to get his hands onto it a bit, but not that clean. Bristow's found a little bit of space too, I reckon, after Brett Plant. Probably single-handed, of course, Tim Bristow not on the end of that, but he's doing a good job early. Nathan O'Donoghue at the fore, but Monday did well. Just prizes out of clearance, Laycock. Just laconic-like, as we've known to see this year. The kick's a good one, Bulldog strong. Couldn't take the mark. Good pressure by DeVissa. Left footer now, needs a neat kick, can't find it over the top of the head of O'Keefe. Just paddles it his way forward. Probably happy to see it over the boundary line, and he does. Where it's a 4-point lead to Launceston, 2 goals, 4-16. 2 straight goals to Burnie.
Flash, sorry to cut in there, boys, just to comment on the rotations again. 14 to Launceston, 7 to Burnie. So you just wonder if this is going to come back to haunt Burnie late in the game.
Thanks for that, Jeevesy. As from the kick from the stoppage ended up on the chest of Jordan Harris. They're starting to use the ball through the corridor a bit more now, the Blues. But that kick, well, he sort of slipped, Boyce, but it's going over his head onto the chest of Robbie Fox, who straightens up and finds Hardy. Now kicked off a step straight into the man on the mark. So Boyce now can hurt them on the turnover. Wants Whiting. He gets it. Now he's got Thurlow presenting. He couldn't get it to him. Terrific smother. Gee, telling turnover that one. Now it's with Shackleton and Green, a foot race. You'd back Green in on his non-preferred. It's okay. Finds Whiting. Now he's got numbers inboard. The kick, well, he makes it difficult for his teammates and showed plenty of it to Walters, who did really well. Barrett now is in trouble. Surely he's gone. Shepherd's got him. So both teams, the pressure certainly having an impact. Lays it off quickly. Now Green's got numbers on the opposite side. It's Harris, and he can drive it inside 50. Has options presenting. Oh, terrible kick again. Gee, Groenewegen's done well. but spills to Hardy. The Dockers are out of trouble.
Well, that might be. The bounce is going to be important for both players. It might just sit up here for O'Keefe, and it does. He's a lovely left footer. Weighs up his opportunity, just decided to waltz around. His opponent did well. Finch with the sit. Ball's up over the top. Numbers in. Needs a sit here for Launceston. Still an opportunity.
Oh, it's a free
kick here to Brian Finch. Well, Tim, my side vision wasn't great there. Didn't see exactly what happened.
No, he jumped in for the ball. He wanted to sort of try to, I suppose, grab it in, pull it in, and the Burnie player's just gone straight over the back of him.
Just a bit clumsy, wasn't it, my check?
It was very clumsy, but very smart by Finchy, and that's almost experience versus inexperience. And he knew that he could draw the free kick from doing what he did, and that's enabling Brian to shoot for his first goal.
The Centurion, a bit of experience there. He's been moved to forward just to give him a bit of a spark, Brian Finch. And he does with a goal. Brian Finch has kicked his first. It's the third to Launceston, and they skip out to a 10-point lead.
Timmy, just on that piece of play, mate, obviously as kids, we're all, growing up playing footy, we're all taught to keep our feet, attack the footy, make sure, you keep a nice centre of gravity and you maintain your balance. Doesn't that go against, Brian Finch has leapt on the footy there, left his feet, ends up with a free kick. Should we be rewarding that? To me, I think not.
It's all about when you've got that moment to just chuck your head in there. It's all about putting your head in, being the first one to the contest, and he couldn't do that through his feet speed, and he could do that through jumping on the ball. And you're always trying to keep your feet when the ball's on that, I suppose, out of field movement, and Finchy just summed it up then beautifully and scored Lonnie's third goal.
Thanks for that, Tim. I think experience was certainly shone out there, but the Blues have kicked the last three. As we saw just earlier, Sandwich Wilson, he's on the bench. We'll get an update on him in a moment. But as play continues, Jordan Harris, he's had plenty of the football.
He's been good. Starting
to have an impact. He's running away from them here, playing really well. The kick up the line, widening the target, got to the front spot. Well roved by Barrett. Gronewegan working hard. Barrett, Milverton needed to be quick and was. So McKenna now, and just a nice, not far enough. Walder's in trouble. Umpire calls play on, but the Blues running forward in waves. Sinclair is Finch in the square. He just has to find him. He didn't. Chance gone begging.
They've had about 4 or 5 chances, boys. Taking the ball into forward 50 and just missing their target. Just not good enough from Launceston's perspective. They need to clean this up to really put the nail in the coffin, and that's too early to be talking about nails and coffins. But for them to put themselves into a position to do that, they need to fix up their disposals.
Certainly their first 8 minutes, the intensity's been very good. Anthony Taylor's words ringing true, but this time Jason Laycock comes out and takes the mark. Now he's kicked it out in front of a couple of players. Braden Hayes an opportunity. Left footer inboard. This might be a good piece of play. Needs to sit up here. Doesn't do so for Rudy Barrett. Turnover again. Big Nathan O'Donoghue just lopes through the middle. Clean use of the footy. In turn now Thurlow. Gee, the kicking wasn't good too. He had plenty of time to size up the opportunity, put his teammates under the pump, and the umpire says, give it to me, we'll start again.
One player that needs to lift for Burnie is Andy Lee. He's playing at centre-half forward, and he's trying to push up, but the boys aren't getting the ball to him. They need to start getting the ball into his hands for Burnie to lift.
Nathan O'Donoghue's palm was wonderful down to Shepton. Finch with the run at it. Needs a Shepherd on here, gets a really nice one. Wheels around the road, he's got Bristow tight and finds him. Wonderful play, Brian Finch. Sized up the opportunity and hit the target.
And he had pace and he had composure. And then, obviously, as you said, David, he had the skill to be able to hit his teammate and Timmy Briscoe, who is a fantastic story. He's had a fantastic season and obviously won the medal and collected the medal. It was quite funny. He ran out, he put it around his neck and ran straight off. And now he's shooting for Launceston's 4th goal.
40 metres. Bristow leaves it way to the left. In fact, it doesn't even make the distance. Just a real toe poke there. Macker off the instep, and well, Burnie get a relief there, and they'll run away with the footy here. The next kick's important.
It certainly is. It looks like, well, they've turned it over again, although the bounce just, Damon Smith doing some heavy work in there. Got it going forward, so Barrett now to the run of Smith, the youngster. And this kick's important. He's got the lead from Radford. He's put it too far. It's out of play, so both teams letting themselves down disposal-wise. Some heavy work in there from Damon Smith, but ultimately unrewarded. So Ryan DeVissa is the general manager of this football club during the week. Oh my, a big fight. Terrific mark on the second grab. It's one way to get on top of your opposition ruckman. And the kick inboard, oh, gee, should have marked Sinclair. May have had the sun in his eyes. O'Keefe off the ground, spills back to Laycock, who almost gives it back to him. Looping hand pass to the run of Monday. They need a goal here, the Dockers. The kick from Monday, oh, terrific effort. Spills to Bulldog off the ground. Desperate defence from the Blues defenders. They've done well.
Jeevesy, just a quick throw down to you. Sandwich Wilson, I can see him. He's looking pretty relaxed. He's okay?
Yeah, boys, I'm just standing now trying to get the official word on exactly what's happened to Sam. It looks like he's just got some issues with his shoulder. He looks a little bit dejected. So I'm just very, very much doing my best down here, but Burnie not giving me a great deal of help.
Marzak Meyer giving us a bit of everything there. Gee, Lonigan had Meyer on hot, and he's just dropped a really easy opportunity. It's going to end up over the back here to Bo Green. Just balances up, did okay. O'Keefe looking through the middle. Just sort of waltzed through the traffic there really nicely. Stevens will fly from the side. McKenna's big. Stevens did well. Paid the mark. Wheels around the right foot. Kick to Finch. One-on-one. Dropping back in the hole. Taking a good mark. Was Milverton, did really well. Finch had the one-on-one on that occasion, but Milverton there, the rescue. This kick's really dangerous. Bantam at the front, at the fall, Stevenson. Another chance, kick to Finch. Can't take the mark, coming from the side on that occasion. Again was Milverton. Did well, and we'll have a boundary line throwing.
Couple of really good efforts there from Milverton. That'll help his confidence. He's had his issues with Whiting. In fact, the switch may have been made. I know he's trotting back over to him now. So Stevens again having an influence.
Yep.
Probably a little bit too Finch conscious on the last couple of times going forward. And now it's Monday working hard. And just a little look away there from Fox. I'm not sure if that's what he meant. He certainly looked good. Wasn't all that effective in the end as the Launceston players there locking it in. Now get it going forward now. On hands and knees working hard. Finally it's Sinclair. Gronewegan now needs to spot someone up. Finch lurking. He's got a few to beat again. Spills over the back. Need to keep their feet here. Templeton slaps it forward. Gee, Smith did well. The youngster doesn't mind it in close and then just drives it long, and the Dockers with a chance on the rebound.
They do. Braden Hayes with an opportunity. Here's a spot up a target going forward, and he does. Coming out, Radford took a good mark. Now he looks to play on pretty quickly. Bulldogs one out for the time being. I reckon he needs to get it on here. So he might fancy himself. Went inboard to Brodie Smith. That kick is dreadful. Brodie Smith running up from the back pocket, didn't do so well on that occasion. The kick in now. Timmy Bristow, he's got some space. He's got plenty of runners. Inboard, they're running hard now. Go through McCabe, he's a left footer. Gee, the kick's off the side, the boot on that occasion. Not sure that is Groggy over there. He's sort of foxed and nearly made an attempt at a tackle. Stevens again, just got the kick away in time. One-on-one battle here, very important. Ellis did okay. They're going to get it going forward. Lonigan looks inboard, tackling. No, that's on the footy. And is there a way here? The Dockers will go forward. Laycock will get first to it. Can't take the mark. Ball now at the turf. Numbers fighting hard. Savage is down there with Laycock. Meyer tries to prize it out. Can't do so. Bristow's gone in high. The umpire said no. Still an opportunity now. And Stevens, can he steady for Launceston? He does. No, it stays in. Meyer check did well. I reckon Launceston wanted that the footy to go out. An opportunity now with Bristow. Numbers here still going forward. Shackleton's now out here for the Dockers.
So lays it back to Banham, who'll try and attack through the other side. Gee, they've got numbers here. Radford, and he was called out well by Smith, who can go on here. He's got a player free inside 50. Now, Davisa came across and cut it off. So Damon Smith, we saw him moments ago, have a flying shot, which went nowhere near the goals. He might think about passing this one off, but, well, to look at his face, he's only got one objective at the moment, and that's between the two big sticks. He'll take a big kick. As part of 55 minutes, it's been 26 minutes since they last kicked a goal. Just a big kick across the face. Andy Lee, I think it was already over the line. So Dockers, just the scoring's dried up a little bit. The opening 2 goals. Launceston have kicked the next 3.
This kick to Boyce just avoids him back into the team today with the shoulder injury. Missed the second semi-final. Well, his kick just not that good and effective on that occasion, but the certainly game, in a sense, has steadied. So Laycock in front. That's a beautiful palm down in front of Banham. He's got a couple of players pressing. Just got the handball away. Laycock. Well taken by Meyer. Shackleton brought to ground. Fox had his kick smothered by Stevens. Some good efforts there. Launceston really good in the clinches.
Good efforts all across. The last 6 minutes of football has been hard and tough, and it's almost been the best 6 minutes of football I've seen, not in terms of the skill, but in terms of the toughness. And both sides are out there giving it 100%, which is fantastic.
Marjak Meyer got it going his way, but landed straight, and Brody Meyer checks Hedgie. Damon Smith went back with courage, couldn't take the mark. He's back tackling. Savage at the fall. Numbers now around both teams. Smith did well, prized it out. Just got a handball out in front of Walters. Did well in traffic. Banham, he's taken high. He's a little man, it's easy to do. He's got numbers running wide. Walters is just going to find himself some space, but he goes deep. Lee with a sit. I reckon he's impeded. A little bit silly. It's going to be a free kick here to the Launceston Blues.
Just a bit frustrated at the moment, I reckon, Andy Lee. Hasn't had a lot of the footy. Coughed one up in the first term. He did recover and get the kick, but as a tall marking forward, he'd dearly love to mid a couple. As the Blues working it down the far side, Lonigan on the chest. And it's a good kick to the path of Stevens, who couldn't quite, got a fair piece of it. The tackle was good on Fox. Monday got in low, working in hard. There is Hardy, good hand pass on the up to Fox. So the Dockers out of the congestion, but Lonigan, geez, a good play, impressive. Now, he must have played on over the mark, so he'll have to come back and take his kick. All just take a breath. It's been an intense second quarter. Launceston flexing their muscles. The Dockers trying to get back into it. Still a very tight game, just the 9 points, the margin. And Jesse Lonigan, recently named the State League's rising star. Still only 16, it's hard to believe. Plays such a mature brand of football. That kick sits it up. Stevenson in the best position. Spills over the back. The Dockers have got the numbers, but the big man McKenna took a while to find it. Did okay. Kept his head. The kick is a long one. And over the back now there are chances. Banham has got some space. Takes a bounce. Needs someone to present now. Lee came short. He's gone longer. Not sure that was the option. Savage took it easily.
They're just rushing their kicks into their forward 50 at the moment, and maybe that's got to do with Burnie's forward setup, but they didn't need to be a lot more composed with hitting targets, because scoreboard pressure is vital going into half-time.
Harrison board to Shepard, ends up now with Shipton. Kick along the line, Marjak Meyer's the target. Smith from the side was wonderful. Got it on the second bites.
He's been impressive today,
yeah,
Smith.
Very. Yeah, no doubt about that, Timmy. Been really good. Inboard Walters now. Just going to play a bit of tempo footy here. Over the top to Monday, the veteran. Another stellar year from Cade Monday. Inboard now, Hardy. Now there's opportunity here. Baldock one out. He's always dangerous. Looks likely every time. This occasion, Devissa did well. He's just lifted his work rate, I reckon, Devissa in the last, well, since about 15-minute mark of the first quarter, knuckled down a bit. That was a wonderful flight. Actually, it's not a mark, quite frankly. Stevenson's got the first bite on that, no doubt about it. But for the moment, we've got a boundary line throwing 40 metres around from the Dockers' goal. They desperately need a goal here. All the momentum on the goal front, and I guess the scoring has been with Launceston. Looked to push in the back. The umpire said no, play on. Numbers over the top. Stevenson's there. Myers looking over the top, and we will start again.
It's just a quick update on Sam Wishwood. I'm going to use my expertise here. The Dr. Paul Scott has given me absolutely nothing. He's holding his shoulder and having trouble to walk. I'm thinking maybe he's got some nerve damage in his right hamstring.
Shoulder and hamstring.
Well, it's all related. I reckon he's got some nerve issues that are just trickling down into his legs. As the boys here, Launceston streaming forward.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jeevesy. Finch on the lead, he's got him. I was almost tempted to let you go then, Jeevesy. You're on top of it.
No, I panicked. I panicked.
No, very good. Just take a breath there, mate, and sit down and relax. We'll get back to you in a moment. Good forward play, though, wasn't it? That's the most open passage of footy we've seen from Launceston.
That's the build-up that Launceston's wanted and needed, and hopefully they can finish it.
So Brian Finch kicked one goal this afternoon, kicked plenty this year, and to extend the lead, he's done it.
Yeah, that was a fantastic finish. And we speak about the build-up, and we speak about the defenders working tirelessly down there in the Burnie forward line, and then being able to have the paddock and use the disposal and have the foot skill to be able to hit target after target, and then have an open forward 50 with a forward target with Brian Finch and his speed, you're going to leave most teams dead and on the back hill, and that's exactly what happened then. Launceston's now kicked 4-5-29 to Burnie 2-2-14. They've got the momentum, they've got the confidence, and that's dangerous for Burnie going into half-time.
Yeah, it's all been Launceston's quarter, no doubt about that, Timmy. Joseph Groeneweg in the middle against the veteran Stevenson on that occasion. Gee, Ellis was really clean out the middle in turn. Out the back door to O'Keefe. Bounce around the ring, this kick's important in front of Nathan O'Donoghue, couldn't take the mark. Numbers at the full, McKenna so good in the second semi-final, of course. Best on ground was good in that occasion. The kick again forward, this is a problem, Timmy, with Burnie. We saw both teams doing it early. They're just not making any targets, are they, as they go to half forward?
They've had a hard 4 weeks as well. They've had a lot of travel, and you're on the big stage where the pressure's a little bit higher, and there's obviously everything to play for. So they're going to have to be really compose themselves at half-time to come out and get their legs fresh again.
Don't we love to see hundreds over there in the wet area too? A place that Brett Jeeves is certainly familiar with. Not on this occasion today. Perhaps ventured over there once or twice myself, of course. They're going forward here. Now's an opportunity. Gee, that's not a bad shot on goal. Just hitting the post. I think there might have been Milverton going forward.
Rudy Barrett, I think it was.
Rudy Barrett, indeed it was. Gee, just sized them up from 45, hit half post high. But they just need a goal here, the Dockers, to give themselves some confidence as we near half-time.
So it's a wobbly old kick from DeVissa, but they've got the numbers here, the Blues. Here's Bristow. And thought about giving a hand pass and then went for a run instead. Yeah, that's a good kick. Whiting, and the spoil was just as good coming over the back. It may have been Boyce, in fact.
Tested that shoulder out there, Mac.
Certainly did.
Damo, I just want to confirm I was actually right with young Sam Wish-Wilson. His head hit the ground and he's got some nerve damage in his neck, and it's referring down into his hamstring. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sensational,
well done,
Jeezy.
Professor Jeeves, actually.
So Stevens going forward, Milverton in the best position, finds it and then lays it off to Monday. They've got options in the middle. The kick's a wobbler and it misses Stevenson. So again, letting themselves down, and Green, it was Woolley in fact. Stevens says, let's just calm it down for a second, boys.
I reckon Jeevesy had a head up, boys, from the Burnie Docker. That was the diagnosis, and he's just running with it that he's picked it up.
Timmy, I can assure you that was not the case. Paul Scott gave me 0. He was quite rude to me, actually.
So they're an opportunity going to go forward here. Here's the man had a shot on before. Rudy Barrett, left footer, likely time. Laycock with a sit, couldn't take the mark. At the fall, the crumbs there with Plant, left footer, not great, but keeps it in alive as far as another opportunity going forward. Gary Shipton there on the deck.
Took a knee into the back, and it's never nice when you've got a very, very tall unit, and Jason Laycock running a knee on the back of the head.
Gene Savage did such a good job last week again there, Timmy, doing really well. That occasion though, Laycock out of the air, left foot around the corner, just falling short. And Launceston, they hold steady again, and Gary Shipton with a bit of space will give a bit of time and breathing space here for the Blues.
Looks to have cleared away the cobwebs okay, Gary Shipton. Just that heavy knock, he's a tough campaigner. Laycock just starting to lift a little bit for Burnie, but it's the Blues going forward. Gee, Bristow wanted it off the ground. Shackleton held onto it. Banham now out the back. He's got Lee inboard. He goes longer. Is it Walters or Hislop the target? Spills now. Fox has got a few to beat here. Does okay. The kick, though, spills to Stevens. Terrific hands on the up. Freed up Ellis, now Groeneweg, and they've got numbers here, the Blues. Spreads it out to the far side, the left footer. McCabe, Finch on the move. Can't find him now. Finch, what can he do at ground level, the veteran? Just puts it to a dangerous spot. Bristow to fly. Gee, the Dockers again, the friendly fire. Thurlow, Walters now in trouble. Still alive here for the Blues. Lonergan, the youngster, around the body, curling back. Jesse Lonergan. That's an amazing goal.
What a sensational finish from the young fella. He hasn't had his ripper first half, but he's just done some little things, and Jesse's just read the ball, bent it around. It was a sensational finish, and Launceston are just out there having an absolute ball over the last 3 minutes.
Just here, Burnie in 6 and 7. You mentioned friendly fire. I reckon you're spot on, Macca, because 3 went up then, and just the numbers, the crummers at the fall, just left it open. The handball at the back door, Jesse Lonigan. What a finish!
And Launceston have kicked the last 5 goals. Burnie haven't kicked a goal for a long time, and they need to get a move on.
So back in the middle, 20-point margin at the 26-minute mark of the second quarter. So Launceston with the early initiative here. The TSL Grand Final. Andrew Lee's been moved in the middle. Well, why wouldn't you? Because he has had 0 output to this stage. So just working hard here. Harris turnover. Hislop inboard. Stevenson, the veteran, sides up the goals. Hits the post. So 2 posters in 2 minutes to the Dockers. Not what they need here at York Park. It's back to a 19-point margin.
15-minute mark of the first quarter was Burnie's last goal, and that's just clearly not good enough for the Burnie boys.
So it's siren time, half-time here at York Park. It's the Northern Derby. Launceston, I shouldn't say North. Launceston Blues versus Burnie Dockers. It's a 19-point margin. That's a wonderful second quarter of the Blues.
Certainly was. They've kicked 5 goals on the trot. The Dockers started well, but were found wanting in that term. They've got plenty to think about at half-time. But stay with us because our editors have been busy all week. They've compiled something to savour, David Lithgow. It's the highlights from season 2011. The start of the season was all about one man. More than 8,000 people turned out at KG5 to see Jason Ackermanis and welcome the start of season 2011. Glenorchy's gamble with a marquee player brought financial rewards, but also inner turmoil and ultimately no September glory. Along the way, it also saw the untimely end of coach Byron Howard. Season 2011 was a tough one on the coaches. South Launceston's Dale Chugg was the first to go. The Demons parted company with Clinton Brown, and we saw the retirements of Wayne Fox, Jeff Dunn and Brett Gapin.
I don't care if you go near the football. I couldn't care less. In fact, don't touch it.
It's no wonder Fox has put the playbook aside. Hobart was never far from the news, none of it good. They go into season 2012 with an uncertain future. Apart from the off-season disaster at Devonport, the Northern contingent were just quietly getting things done. Launceston undefeated as the minor premiers and Burnie hitting form at the right time. Regardless of the result today, State League footy is here to stay. It's local, it's passionate, and it's certainly something you won't see anywhere else.
Mate, we better get you in the shower. It's very, very cold here. Thanks very much for joining us, mate.
Thanks,
Well, there you go. Thanks, guys.
This is going to be a good game of football.
Not sure the wisdom of that. O'Donoghue, welcome back to Tasmanian football.
They have to come to play today, because there may be no tomorrow.
This could really shake up season 2011.
Buys a few metres for his team. Not a lot of highlights there, Flash. A few clangers.
They just can't find a target.
Zane Murphy just walked past me here. He's like he may have rolled in a wet comic.
Straight through the middle.
I just wanted to speak to you, mums. Little Johnny, let him play Aussie rules also.
So there was plenty of highlights and plenty of star performers in season 2011, but none were better than those named in the Team of the Year. From the back line, Jordan Harris and Matthew Smith joined Greg Sharman. Beau Green, Nick McKenna and Darren Bannum were named across half-back. Tim Bristow is in the centre with Zane Murphy and Braden Webb on the wings. At half-forward, Zeke Gardam and Darren Crawford were joined by Justin Rodman at centre-half forward. The Hudson medalist Brian Finch is no surprise at full forward with Sonny Whiting and Trent Standen. Followers were Jason Laycock, Cameron Thurley and Jackson O'Brien. And the bench looks good with Kane Waller, Scott Stevens, Gary Shipton and Cade Munday. So there it is, Flash. Plenty of stars of season 2011 and
Yeah, it was a good side, wasn't it?
It was a good team. We should mention, of course, Anthony Taylor, Coach of the Year, and Ben Leno, as we mentioned, Umpire of the Year as well. And we've been doing a bit of thinking about the star performers of season 2011, and they haven't always been on the field.
No,
we've had plenty of star performers on social media, Twitter and Facebook. It's been going off ABC TSL this year, and you've got a few names you'd like to throw out there?
Yeah, I have. It's been good fun. I must say our good friend Andy hasn't been involved too heavily. We must tell the truth, but us sort of younger bucks have to. Jan Woods has been my favourite on Facebook. Special mention to her. She's been avid. We only started this about 6 or 7 weeks ago, of course, which is a bit remiss from us. But Social media is very important in all aspects of life, and footy's no different. Twitter's been going. A couple other names that you're very happy with in the Facebook scene as well.
Yeah, I was very happy with Jacob Bevis's work. He was pushing very hard for the grand final highlights to be posted, and they've been very popular over the course of the year. But to everyone who's contributed, and keep them coming for the second half, of course, is wait to see what happens. I mean, Burnie have got some work to do.
No doubt,
19 points down. Really, in that second term, you got the sense that Launceston were just slowly but surely working their way on top. What do you think Burnie need to do?
Well, they've got to hit targets, don't they, going forward? You just see with Burnie, the intensity was really good. And early on, they did hit the targets in that first quarter, which what we saw. But they're just lacking. I don't know, Launceston defensively were really sound in that second quarter, weren't they? And they're still not that clean, but they've had a couple of good takes, and Finch has started to come to his own. I like the move, I reckon, of Taylor sending Finch back to the goal square. He's kicked a couple of goals too.
He's looked dangerous. The tall timber for Burnie so far. Laycock has done a few nice things.
Yes.
Haven't heard boo from Andy Lee so far.
No, I haven't signed him. It was interesting too, with 5 minutes to go. They've just thrown him into the middle there as a ruck roving role. Don't mind that. He's got a huge tank. We know that, and he'll run all day, which is important. Stevenson's been a bit quiet. And Two McKenna, who dominated the second semi, which we mentioned during the call. He's been good, he's been solid, but certainly not outstanding and dropping into that space we saw with Finch, which he did so successfully in the second semi.
Favourite saying of a lot of coaches, it mightn't be your match, but it could be your moment. And I think for a lot of those Burnie players, they might have had a quiet first half, but they're still in the game. I mean, 3 goals, they can make that up in 5 minutes. So that's got to be the message for them. Forget about what's happened and let's just focus on the second half.
Oh, I think so. There's no question. We saw it last night in the footy too. The 3 goals, much to George's dismay, as the Hawthorn man, Damien, went pretty quickly. And it's almost a similar type game now, isn't it, in the sense that Launceston are really on top physically. But if Burnie can somehow self-drag them too, the momentum swings, doesn't it? And all of a sudden you'll find themselves back in the contest. They've got to get the big guys. I think that's the crucial point. I know we harp on it, but they need Laycock and Lee, etc., starting to catch the footy.
Spot on. We like the work of Finch up forward. We've liked what we've seen from Whiting, although he's wasted a few opportunities. Get the sense the Blues are on top in the midfield. Yes. Stevens, Bristow in particular, I think he started the match well, and of course, winning the Tassie medal, he's just kept on keeping on, hasn't he?
He has, and what's interesting, you watch Tim Bristow, and unfortunately we haven't seen Launceston a lot this year. We certainly have seen him a bit the last few weeks. Is he has that really high-quality AFL step, doesn't he? When he's in traffic, you just don't, you can't tackle him, and it's a real gift that not a lot of people have. He's so clever. Scott Stevens, the second quarter. We've got to talk about that. It was fantastic. Tough work, hard work, and courage. And some of the names we don't talk about a bit. Harris, superb, I thought. So, yeah, Launceston on top of the moment. Brett Plant's getting interesting. Obviously, the boys are down there now just to see how he responds as far as getting his side, because the first 10 minutes of this third quarter came up very crucial. Yeah, we'll get down there in a moment. Just want to come back to Tim Bristow winning the Tassie medal. That's a fantastic achievement. You mentioned we haven't seen a lot of him this year. We do have some vision. We can show you now some of his highlights because he is an impressive player. This is, in fact, the presentation of the Tassie medal. Do you think, were you surprised he got up? Oh, look, I was. I guess like a lot of us, we sort of thought that as you see Timmy Bristow, he grabs the medal. See you, boys, I'm off. I've got some footy to play here. And why wouldn't you? But we're so used to, obviously, a lot of Cameron 30, expecting best on ground every week. Probably a little bit stiff, to be frank, but they've won every game this year bar one. And, of course, that game was a final which sort of didn't apply anyway. Tim Bristow, according to Anthony Taylor, we speak to him regularly, he's been unbelievable, especially in the second half of the year. So he's a wonderful player, and he's one of those blokes, isn't he, Macca, that really stands out. Yeah, he certainly does. You mentioned that step that he's got. He's got a bit of flair. And he actually came across from country Victoria University studies, I think it was, that brought him down to Tasmania. He's got 2 other brothers that are playing in grand finals today as well. So the family's certainly got some good bloodlines happening there. But he's a different sort of player. We heard Brent Plant speak about him in not the most flattering of terms at quarter time, but every side needs a player with his sort of flair. And just matchup-wise, he's so difficult to counter, isn't he? No doubt about that. Interesting going forward. You mentioned every side's got one. What we need to see now for the Dockers is who is the Burnie player, which is going to provide what the Tim Bristows of the world do, that little bit of bite and spark that he gives. Because a lot of their midfielders and some of the kids we've seen, they've had some spare part moments, Fox, etc., but haven't really shone. Shackleton too, down a little bit. I reckon their intensity's been okay, and we've seen a couple of times Burnie actually wiping out their own teammates, Sam Wish-Wilson, of course, in all sorts of trouble. But
almost that they just need to settle a little bit, take the foot off the pedal and just steady and realise, OK, we still actually have to play football?
Oh, I think so, no doubt about that. And it's now or never. I mean, they've been amazing the last 4 weeks. Before they came down to that Glenorchy game, of course, most pundits, and probably us included to be quite fair, thought the Burnie were that team that were close but not up to the standard of Clarence and I guess Launceston. They've taken all before them, of course. They beat Glenorchy, went down to the semi-final, big underdogs and beat Clarence. Amazing win the second semi-final. Now the wheels turned again. So it's about how, I guess, they respond in this third quarter.
One Docker who has come to play and went missing in the second term, not through any fault of his own, was Rowan Baldock. I reckon if they can get the ball to him one-on-one, he could do some serious damage.
Davis is interesting, isn't he? We saw him do a really good job last week. He's a mid-sized player. He sort of shapes up well against the body size and structure that Baldock has. Unusually big arms, 6 foot, so good in the air, and when it hits the ball, since the 15-minute mark, he's done a terrific job, I reckon, which has been really important to Vista. One of those players, again, that we haven't heard a lot about this year, but part of this very even Launceston 22.
He's been good. I tell you what, who else has been good is Brett Jeeves and Tim Hazel. They've been about the rooms. What have you got for us, boys?
Yeah, thanks, Damien. I went into the Launceston rooms and I heard Anthony Taylor, and he was very educated in what he said. And what he spoke about was there's no tomorrow, there's no next week, it's all about today. And his message was just be clean with your disposal, especially going into forward 50. You snuck down and heard the Burnie coach. What was he saying to his boys?
Well, it sounds like Anthony Taylor may have swallowed a cliche book, did he? No tomorrow, all those sorts of cliches, which is terrific. You like that from your coaches. The Burnie Dockers coach, Brent Plant, you know, I like him as a coach. He's the sort of guy, he's very placid and very calm, and he just had the players kind of eating out of his palm effectively. They were listening intently. He pinpointed Lee and Laycock as the two bigs who haven't quite fired a shot in this game. Andy Lee in particular has been very disappointing. Look to him to play a little bit further up the ground, but effectively, we've still got a contest here, Timmy.
We do indeed, and the crowd's building, and the atmosphere around Aurora Stadium is fantastic as we see Launceston come back out for the third quarter. The rotations is something that I'm always fascinated about when the weather's a little bit warmer. Burnie were a little bit lesser than Launceston.
Yeah, we're looking at 22-12 effectively at half-time. Launceston on top of the rotations there quite heavily. Sandwich Wilson doesn't look like returning back to the game with that little bit of nerve damage to his neck. I know that you're a little bit sceptical about that, but I was on the money there, which has made me very happy. But yeah, Wish Wilson out of the game, so they're now a player short, and with those rotations, 12-20, I think Launceston may run this game out a little bit better than Burnie.
Especially with the weather, because the wind is slightly picking up a little bit. You spoke about the 3-goal breeze. That's always going to be a factor coming into these last couple of quarters. Scoreboard pressure's everything, and we've seen the ball going into both forward 50s a lot, but just not with a lot of reward. We saw Launceston kick the last 5 goals. Burnie haven't. Burnie's in all sorts in that area, and we touched on the big boys. Andy Lee needs to fire.
Well, yeah, Andy Lee's been a disappointment. Certainly felt the wrath of Coach Brent Plant. But, yeah, look, I mean, Burnie kicking with the win in that quarter, they'd be disappointed. They would have liked a lead going into half-time. It didn't happen. They're going to have the win coming home. Let's just hope it's the intensity keeps up and we keep witnessing some good footy.
Jeevesy, quickly, you still staying with Burnie?
I'm still with Burnie.
I'm with Launceston. Boys, it's fantastic down here. It's a cracker game. It's going to be a great second half. Back up to you.
Thanks, boys. Terrific insight into what's been happening at half-time for both clubs. We've got Launceston back out on the field. Burnie yet to reappear. Those words of Brent Plant obviously still continuing, and he'll be keen to get a lift out of his senior players. We mentioned Andy Lee's had just the 2 touches to date, and one of those was in the opening 30 seconds or so, certainly needs to lift Flash.
Yeah, no, he's been important, the fact that he just getting no output whatsoever. He's so dangerous. You saw Clarence doing the qualifying final. He cut them apart early, no doubt. He's got that big engine. Going to be very, very keen, as we just mentioned, to see what Brett Plant does with him at the start of this quarter, because do you go back to your normal structures, do you? Interesting. We've seen him play back at times as well. For mine, I don't mind the idea. He spent that last 5 minutes of the quarter in the middle. Maybe that's his role.
Just get him involved in the play. Just quickly, his opponent, Josh Woolley, turns 19 today. So happy birthday to Josh. Kicked the opening goal for Launceston, having a really good day. He's an interesting type, Josh Woolley. He's a bit taller than what you think. Covers the ground really well, uses it well. I know last year there was a little bit of interest in him in terms of the bigger leagues around the country. But look, at the moment, just doing a really good job for the Blues.
Of course, there's only one bigger league. We match up very sizable
responsibility with the other ones, the Sanford, the Waffle and the VFL, which we also watch on ABC2 quite regularly. But no, in all seriousness, he's a talented player, isn't he? And this is the unheralded nature of the Lonnie Football Club, I reckon. So many names that just fit into the structure, into the work. Rick Finlay's just given me an interesting stat. They've scored 34 of the last 37 points. So been really on top since that first couple of goals that almost Burnie got against the run of play, didn't they?
They did, and of course we should mention again that would have been the 3 goals they would have got that Rowan Baldock had that goal.
Yes.
Running into an open goal, Darren Bannum gave away the free kick. So after that sort of early 5 or 10 minute burst from the Dockers, it really has been Launceston's ball game. The Dockers have certainly been competitive, but their ball use going forward at the moment is what's letting them down. They really need something to happen for them across half forward. Even Laycock in a sustained burst up forward might be the answer. Stevenson is another option, of course.
Yes.
But really, as we mentioned, it's Lee getting on the end of a couple, getting some more opportunities into Baldock, and really winning the ball out of the middle as well. I mean, when you look at what the work that Stevens has been able to produce, McCabe and Sinclair have been dangerous. I want to see more out of Shackleton.
Yes.
I think Burnie, he's worked hard, but hasn't been breaking a line like we know he can.
Yes.
The loss of Wish Wilson hurts. So,
Yes.
look, Burnie up against it, but certainly wouldn't write them off.
I'd like to see, as our new special comments man comes in, how are you, Jeevesy?
Yeah, I'm a bit puffed. I had to take the stairs coming up there, which was not ideal, particularly for me.
I was just going to say,
current state.
Your thoughts. I mean, it'd be interesting to see Laycock will start in the middle, no doubt, initially. I want to see a bit of time in him right in the heart of the goal square, Jason Laycock, because there's going to be a time here when it's going to be pressure footy. They're going to need to bomb it in. He's the one man that can certainly do some damage, and looks like Lee is going to start forward again, Jeeva.
Yeah, look, I've been a bit surprised with Laycock. I thought he'd spend a little bit more time forward. He spent a lot of his time, as you said, in and around the ground. I think it is probably the right time in the game. They're a couple of goals down. They're kicking against the breeze in this quarter. Try and create some pressure, but maybe even play him as true centre half forward. Get him as that option coming out of the forward line. But Andy Lee needs to get himself involved. He's yet to fire a shot. The midfields have been pretty even, I think, but Launceston's forwards and mainly the delivery into the forward line has been superior to Launceston.
So just about underway in the second half of the grand final. It's Launceston holding a 19-point lead. The Dockers with it all to do. Jason Laycock, their star in the middle. He's up against O'Donoghue and lays it down. Bristow, the Tassie medalist, with the first centre clearance.
They do forward. I reckon O'Donoghue's been pretty good, almost jumping over the top of the big fella Laycock, and I believe he did that a lot in the second semi as well. He's had a good start. Nick McKenna's tackling hard. Ellis to the ground. The umpire says give it to me, 19-point lead. So the first 5 to 7 minutes, obviously, Jeeva, very important. Interesting to get Bristow's stats. Rick Finlay, he's had a lot of the footy in the first half. You can see why he's the Tassie medalist. He's had 13, but his work in and around the stoppages, he's just been terrific. So Groenewegen this time. In fact, Jesse Lonergan's gone over the top there and got a forward. Whitey, he might need the sit. He's very dangerous in this area. Flipped out a handball at the back. Bo Green with an opportunity here, left footer in, boards on back, kick to Finch, just over here, says Bristow, now the fall. Mychich, he was a bit clumsy then, the kid, didn't do well, turnover footy now, Jackson Thurlow kicks the first goal of the third quarter. Well, young Mychich, he'd be very disappointed there, Flash, great call as well. He was clumsy, he came rushing in, he needed to take clean possession of that football, he tried to tap it forward. Massive error on the part of the Burnie defenders. They got to be cleaner. Coach Brent Plant stressed that. He almost took on board what Anthony Taylor said at quarter time about going back to basics, playing clean footy. He'll be very disappointed with that start.
Gee, Jackson Thurlow, he's kicked some big goals in the last couple of weeks. Just what they needed, the Blues.
Just his pace though. Thurlow's pace he's electric.
He's an exciting young prospect, and the job for the Dockers just got a little bit harder. 25 points now as Laycock, and again O'Donoghue got over the top. Bristow again getting the clearance, although it was affected, so still there to be won. He's working hard. McKenna did well, show of strength, got it to Bannum inside 50. What can they do here, the Dockers? Hislop working hard, kept his feet, he did well, steps inside Shipton, needs an option now, just pops it up, dangerous spot over the back, you'd back him here. It was well played, Cade Monday. Almost was looking for Rowan Baldock, but Monday just drifted forward. He's got a few tricks.
He's strong, Cade Monday. He's very strong across the what am I looking for? The pectoralis.
Upper body.
The upper body.
The skipper, and boy did they need that one.
Well, look, nice work there from the Burnie forwards. There was a 2-on-1. good shepherd, got the ball to the top of the goal square. That basic football that Brent Plant talked about at half-time, well, he'd be much more pleased with that as opposed to the work of his defenders.
Interesting to see what they can do here. Gee, I reckon Bristow's been really busy again at the start. He only had a couple of touches, but looks lively in the game breaker. Looks like Banham's gone to him now, Macca.
Yeah, interesting one.
In fact, they're just playing a little bit wide of each other, which is interesting. Andrew Lee with the mismatch there. He's about 6'6" on the little burly little Stevens. So again, O'Donoghue goes forward on this occasion. They almost spoiled themselves there. The Dockers trying to get a sport. Shackleton with the big body. Did well. He's strong. He's good turn. He's clever. And Banham takes the mark. They've got a couple options up forward. Lee pressing to the wing here. But he's going to go over here. He said O'Donoghue will swallow this, I reckon. And he does. Well, bad options.
I'm not sure what he was thinking. Andy Lee was standing 10 metres clear of his opponent. Great opportunity to get Lee into the game with a nice, easy mark. Wasted.
O'Donoghue here, which he just set up Bo Green, who's got lucky. Shackleton a bit clumsy there by the star on ball. And also, he's just let Bo Green slip there arguing with the umpire. Not a great result. Groenewegen takes the mark. The runner Green, he's been terrific. Kicks a worm, burning a fish.
What a terrific kick. Straight away we can see the difference between Launceston going forward and Burnie going forward. That kick was unbelievable on his non-preferred.
So Brian Finch, he'll kick from about 45 metres out, right tight in the boundary line. You can see him just in there in the shade to your left of screen.
Is he a chance?
Finch.
Macca, you giving him a chance?
I reckon the confidence up here, runs around, he starts at left. Might have been an interesting chant going on there from the Burnie Dockers.
They've been chanting that all day to poor Finchy.
They're pretty vocal down there, the Burnie boys, and they're missing you, Jeevesy. They asked, where is Brett Jeeves? And I said he's had to get away from you guys, so you've obviously done something to annoy them.
Those bloody vuvuzelas down there, giving me grief.
So the Dockers desperately needing to start something here in the third term. The Premiership quarter, as it's known, is trying to run through there was Fox. He did okay. Weight of numbers, though. Terrific tackle. Did well. He's been pinged for a high tackle.
My goodness.
Well, that's stiff. I thought he did just about everything right there. Sinclair off a step. Groenewegen the stretch. Couldn't quite. Working hard there. His plan. He did well. Kept his feet. And feeds it back to Banham. Needs to get more of the ball further forward, I reckon, Darren Banham. He can be damaging inside the 50. We've seen that in previous weeks. He goes forward and can kick goals. The Shackleton now. Lee will fly in front. Almost. Has he taken it? Not quite.
Stiff there, I think.
Yeah, very stiff as Savage. O'Keefe, that's a clever kick around the body. He can go here.
Well, they're out here.
They're on here. Whiting, Finch over the back will fly. Big fly! Stevens coming across. Haven't seen him fly like that in years. Couldn't quite at ground level. Shackleton has some time and just feeds it back, and Banham off a step. They're not out of trouble. Funny old kick. Spills to Rice, and the left footer wants Laycock.
Well, Donoghue's just got in front of him again there, but Hislop's clever enough at the full left footer. Needs to find a target. Monday, one out. The butcher shifted, held him, I reckon. So it's a free kick to Kane Monday, 70 metres out from goal. Bulldogs one out there with Devissa. He's got longer options for McKenna's gone forward here, the big move. Won't be the target. Drop in delayed. Donoghue did well at the full there. Hardy around the corner. Opportunity now for Bulldog with strength.
What about his strength today? I was going to call all three of his goals. His kick two, his line out for his third. But both his marks have come in very, very similar circumstances. Just his upper body strength. May have been a little illegal, Macca. I'm not sure. There may have been a tug of the jumper, but we're happy for him to be having a shot on goal. He's a good player.
He is indeed. Didn't mind that. Just a couple of blokes there wrestling and gripping away. So Bulldog just been out of it since sort of midway through that first quarter. This is an important kick. He's an important player, and he just leaves that to the left-hand side. One behind to the Dockers. So Launceston, 6 goals, 642. Lead the Burnie Dockers, 3 goals, 523. Hope you join the coverage here on ABC Grandstand.
So O'Keefe just went for a little trot, and then with nothing really to kick to, Stevenson should have marked. Terrible error. So the Dockers...
He's been superb, Donoghue.
He has. working really hard. I know you're trying to talk him up because
Well,
you
I
tipped
am
him for
actually.
the
I just
Bulldog
little
medal.
wink and what have you. Well, we actually haven't seen Joe Groenewegen playing the ruck yet. He's played down forward for the first half.
Yeah, good point. There's Banham working hard. He's had a bit of it in this term. Laycock needs some runners. Oh, good hands.
Terrific
Barrett
hands.
now, the left footer, will drive it long. Baldock on the move again. I reckon he's got it. He does. His hands are superb. Dances around one. What can he do here? Rowan Baldock, can he kick a much-needed goal for Burnie? It's there.
That is terrific football. Dane McIver is out of his seat. I was for a fleeting moment.
And it's, apologies, Harry Walters. I got excited.
Well, I thought it was Baldock as well. Was it not Baldock? They've got very similar hair.
Harry Walters. Yeah, Harry Walters.
You've confused me because I was excited. I called Baldock at the start of the game as the medalist, and I was thinking, well, 3 goals, here we go. But terrific football from Walters. Yeah. He showed great strength again. The marks that we've seen inside the forward 50 for Burnie in this quarter have all come from sheer strength.
The margin back to 13 points here at Aurora Stadium. The Dockers with a couple of quick ones to tighten up the margin. So Groenewegen is an opportunity, but just playing from behind on that occasion. Thurlow might have taken his opponent high. The umpire said no. Tensi certainly lifted across the board. Tackled hard. Shepherd taking the ground. Myercheck. Umpire says, give it to me. Good decision.
It's just lifted here, hasn't it? You can almost, I think yourself and Damien McIver are the barometers here, Flash. The game lifts a cog. You guys lift a cog. Timmy Hazel's down there. He'll lift as well. Terrific stuff.
Marjek Myers going to go up over the top here. Did pretty well too, but went straight down to Shackleton. Just hurried it on the boot. Foot race here, Lee. But it's going to beat him over the top. Monday now with some clear space. Okay, let's have a look at the foot skills. The beauty of Wormburn and Hislop. Couldn't take the mark. I think he's been taken off the contest there. The umpire said no. Hislop now feeds a handball. Walters around the corner. Bending! Bulldog takes a ripper.
Young Walters, I'm tipping my cap to him. His last 2 minutes has been outstanding. His pace, he's had 16 possessions. David Lithgow, call this one.
Bulldog kicks number 3. The Dockers are alive here at Aurora Stadium.
Young Walters just outstanding, the young man. He's just put on the afterburners. He's kicked the goal with his pace. He's taken the game on there, got the ball to Baldock, so he took a pretty strong mark in the goal square, and the Burnie Dockers are back in the mix.
Boys, just down here on the boundary, one thing to take note of is Brett Plant's come from the coach's box down onto the ground. Every Burnie supporter's up and about, not Brent. He's showing no emotion. He's very focused. He's got his charges up and going. Whatever he said to the boys, he did speak about basics. That's what they're doing, and that's why they're kicking in, putting scoreboard pressure on Launceston.
Timmy, is that breeze still blowing to the left of screen?
It is. I reckon it's dropped a little bit, and but it's definitely still a factor. And hence, you saw Monday's kick just swivel a little bit in the air. They've got to keep their kicks low and penetrate them hard so they can move the ball through the air quicker.
Thanks, Timmy. 7 points the margin. Harry Walters, inspired coaching move. Spent most of this season playing down back, moved up forward and has ignited the team. So Shepherd now for the Blues going inside 50. Finch in good position and takes the mark.
It's the Andy Bennett rule, of course.
Yeah,
We've been talking about the last month. They kick a quick one after working so hard. They go back and kick a quick one. It's interesting that all the goals, Jeeva, come from the other end almost.
Yeah, I can't work that out. The breeze is actually quite strong down there. It's a genuine 3 to 4 goal breeze, but we've seen the majority of the scoring coming to the right of screen.
So Brian Finch, against the run of play, the Dockers are surging, and Finch has hung it out to the right. It doesn't come back.
Well, it's a little bit disappointing from Finch. You'd expect him to go back and kick that one. That breeze, all he had to do was hit the right post and it would have bent back. But nonetheless, forward entry, you'd be happy with that.
So, Brodie Myercheck. Kick to the tall timber here. McKenna's in front, takes a strong mark nearly at the fall. Smith buttering up now, kick along the line, off the side, the boots. Out the bounds on the full. Right in front of Timmy Hazel there, Bo Green with the footy.
Should have seen my eyes light up. I actually threw the mic. I was going to dive in, take the mark, but thought I better not.
Thrilled that you didn't, Tim. Smoke Green going forward, Groenewegen over the back. Opportunity now for Thurlow. G's lively and dangerous, beats him over the boundary line.
Would have ended up with fake tan all over the grass down there, Timmy, if you'd taken a spill, which would have been no good.
That's very disappointing by you, Gigi. Very disappointing. Low.
Boundary line thrown by The umpire on that occasion over the top. Ends up here with Boyce. Kick out the front of space to Finch is really good. Joe Boyce back in the team.
He needs to kick this one, Finch, for his own confidence. He's been reasonably quiet in this game. He's obviously getting himself involved in the last couple of minutes, but Timmy Hazel, obviously quite good mates with Brian Finch. Timmy, talk us through Brian's preparation during the week. You spent a bit of time at his place?
Yeah, look, he runs a fitness business, looks after his body. His body's a temple, loves his football, loves developing younger players, as we see him line up from 35, just on a slight angle.
He starts at right board. He just left it there again. Not good goal kick. It's amazing. Only 2 goals to that end at this stage, which is an extraordinary stat.
We've just seen him stab at those last 2, which is unusual for him.
So the kick from Myercheck. Oh, big fire. Laycock couldn't quite. It was exciting. At ground level, Hislop working hard. Spills out the back now. Fox, Meyer to pump it forward for the Blues. They've got numbers inside. Lonigan now, the youngster, the kick. Finch again moving. He won't quite get him. At ground level, lays it off. It's a good option. Finch again, geez, looking tired. Gets it on the up. Gee, terrific tackle coming across. The Dockers working hard. Lonigan in there. Needs support. Over the top there was Templeton, just hacked it out of the danger zone. And the Dockers momentarily getting a reprieve. Is Rice. Gee, almost could have got the free kick. Barrett. And he's taken to ground. So the Dockers holding up okay. Brian Finch working hard, creating plenty of opportunities. We see there's those vuvuzelas, Jeevesy.
They're no good. The Burnie crowd.
Triggering that migraine of yours. So, again, well, that's a free kick.
Yep.
So,
Shepherd or Laycock. Oh.
No, for shepherding.
Genuine shepherd, yeah. Good decision.
So,
I enjoyed that one.
Laycock, hand pass over the top was an interesting one, but it frees it up now. So, Damon Smith, the kick is wayward. His kicking's been a little bit ordinary today, Damon Smith. Everything else has been good. Just the kicking, as we see. Oh, I'm not sure about that.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
I'm
with you on that occasion.
I apologise. I'm now with you too.
Harrison Board needs to find a target and does. Stevens now, he's got runners out wide. So Woolley, left footed now, a bit of space here for the run of Sinclair. Flips it over the top to Beau Green, runs into 47, bangs it home for a lovely point. Jeepers, they're missing some opportunities here, boys, just at the moment.
Wasteful Launceston, yeah, you'd be... Yeah, they should be... Well, they should have kicked the last 3 goals effectively. Finch missing 2, and then that one there on the left. A fairly easy shot on goal.
So 4 straight behinds for the Blues. And most of those shots were gettable, so wasting their chances. Barrett with a long driving kick out the far side with a run of it. Fox, now, this guy's been so impressive over the last month. That kick, not his best work. Shipton did well, cutting it off. O'Keefe just goes forward to Lonigan. And good kick just up the line. McCabe. So they'll try and work it into the middle now. Stevens got the run of Savage. Has numbers inside, goes longer. So the target over the back will be Groenewegen. Oh, gee, terrific Mark Thurlow. Just read it better than anyone else, including me. The kick inside, Finch one out, couldn't quite. Gee, good spoil. Templeton.
They're starting to hit Finch up, aren't they?
Absolutely, he's looking dangerous. Gee, they're mucking around with it here, lucky in the end because the Blues were circling. The free kick will go to Milverton. The Dockers get a reprieve.
Well, it was a terrific kick to Finch, an even better spoil from behind, particularly when you go for the chest mark. It's hard to get a sight on the ball. But we are seeing a massive difference in the forward entries from Launceston to Burnie. It looks like, well played there from the young player there.
So Braden Hayes is the man you're talking about. Kick along the line, just over the head of Meyer.
Which is why I'm not a caller here.
Should end up now with Gary Shipton. Inboard, they'll find McCabe. He's a left footer. Naturally goes that way. In turn, the kick. Well, he's looking for Groenewegen, but dropping in front of him there was Corey Shepherd. Now, Finch is going to double back and go the other way. This time he's got 2 on him. Be a really good effort, and probably wasn't a great kick on that occasion. And Jack Templeton takes the mark. Releases Andy Lee, a couple of kicks to him. Just at the moment, too, they've got an opportunity here to go away here as a mark on the half-back flank. The Burnie Dockers are going to reload through Cade Munday.
Flash, we've seen Andy Lee now playing down back, which is probably not a bad move, trying to negate the run of momentum from Launceston.
So Cade Munday just holding on to the footy. He's not happy about something. Just wanting to slow up the tempo of this game. He's been standing there for, it seems like about half an hour. And finally, just off a step, just drives it long. Laycock to fly. Oh, almost brings it down. Hasn't quite been able to impose himself yet. It's McCabe working hard. Monday followed up. Meyer, G did well. Got it back to Shipton and just throws it on the boot. Gets good metres on that. Now Lee will need to go back here. Finch did well. Follows up his own footy. Will try and keep it in. He can't, but that's a good result for the Blues.
Finch's speed impressive, wasn't he? He really closed that down well.
Boundary line thrown. So 18-minute mark of the third quarter. Finch did well up over the top. But Burnie now released it from the defence, but it might go back as quickly. In fact, it doesn't. Really good takeaway there from Rudy Barrett. Kick around the corner, and nearly a wonderful mark to O'Keefe. Gee, sat on Walters' head. Walters is tackling. Numbers there. Well, that was a spectacular effort from O'Keefe.
What about his leap? He nearly jumped straight over the top of him. We can see the replay. That is a beauty.
And he's actually done all the hard work and probably should have taken it. Down below, Laycock this time, palming down Monday at the fall, did well. Now he's found himself in some space here, Laycock. Can't take the handle. Meyer was good. Went in low, went in really hard and fair. Laycock's down, he might be hurt. Going to go back with a footy. Launceston need to be sharp here. Opportunity here for Radford. Just sort of corralled him really well. In fact,
I'm not sure what's happening. The umpire's pinned him for holding the ball after the boundary umpire's caught it out of bounds. I'm not sure it's even possible.
That quick's not at that flash as well. Might come back in really quickly. An opportunity for Baldock. McKenna's there at the 4-foot race now. Savage did well. Left foot again. Meterage. Good result.
Well, the umpire said an absolute not. And there was a bit of a pause here. I thought he was going to pin him for deliberate out of bounds. I was waiting to see what happened there, so I was going to give him an almighty spray if he'd pinned him for that as well.
Yeah, he's had a pretty ordinary last minute or so. But Nick McKenna, interestingly enough, gone forward as well. So Brent Plant ringing the changes. And almost a mark there to Whiting. McCabe at ground level. Had an option out wide in Sinclair. Opted to kick. And Thurlow with the one hand couldn't quite. Myercheck did well.
It's good duel those two, Mac.
Absolutely. And the Dockers now. That was a good kick. Now Barrett, I reckon, has been really good. Certainly providing some drive off the back line. And now Andy Lee starting to get slowly just involved. Lost a bit of momentum here going forward. He just sort of strolled back off the mark, pops it inside. It's a good kick. Darren Bannum, so 70 from goal. Laycock has dusted himself off. He's inside 50, calling for it long. He goes in that direction. Laycock to fly. He can't, almost couldn't get much of a run at it as Shackleton did well. Monday, the tackle from Lonergan was excellent. The Blues working hard. Ellis did well to find it at ground level. They're out of trouble, although Myercheck will be first there for the Dockers. And just a little kick in the direction of Bannum. G, cruel bounce. Ellis did well. Bristow, there's a step. Gave it over the top, Sinclair. And the kick, G, Finch will have to work hard here on the bounce. Gets there first. He's got numbers inside. Oh, terrific kick. Stevens dropped the chest mark. The skipper couldn't believe his luck. Has to go back and find it. Pops it over the top. There's still a chance. Whiting couldn't get there. Terrific spoil from Milverton. Cleared the zone. Templeton, Finch got him. Milverton did well. Over the top, the Dockers surely out of trouble now as Barrett butters up.
Well, there's just a little errant handball there. Almost part cut off Joseph Groenewegen going forward. Nathan O'Donoghue with a set. Very clever kick by the big guy there, Groenewegen.
Well, Burnie they just couldn't get it out of the 50 there. Brian Finch was unbelievable in that passage of the play. He attacked the football at great speed and found Scott Stevens, who had 50 metres of space, and dropped one of the easier chest marks. Maybe the sun was in his eyes, I'm not sure, but they've ended up with the ball with O'Donoghue through a magnificent centering kick.
Nathan O'Donoghue, some of the smart ones here in the box thought he might be the cream on the cake here for Launceston. He'll run into 30 metres.
Definite point. You gave him no chance here. You talked yourself up. Your own arrogance cost Launceston a goal, and that is disappointing.
Well, the goal kicking starting to become an issue.
No, it's a big issue. 5 points in a row, I think, Mac.
Yep. Still just an 11-point margin. Should be a whole lot more because they've dominated the last 5 or 10 minutes. Monday, kick was smothered. Luckily, came back to him. Hand pass over the top. Barrett in trouble. G thought his way through it well. And the kick out wide. McKenna needs to get around Savage. Some big boys in there. G. McKenna just brushed off a couple. Hard to tackle. Myercheck's kick's an interesting one. Lee needs to be good, he is. Kept his feet, laid it off to the run now of Templeton, I think it was. And Mahays working hard, he hasn't got it. And eventually gets it for a high tackle, so well played, Braden Hayes. Kicked a few goals this year, playing further up the field this afternoon. Here's Laycock, now he's got Baldock presenting in close, and that was well read. You see Shipton, experience, saw where the kick was going, got across. Safe pair of hands.
Macro, I like the move of Andy Lee down back. It's just freed him up a little bit. I'm not sure he's got a direct opponent. Miar was on him there at one stage, but he's been good. He's getting a little bit of footy.
So Gene Savage in turn finds O'Keefe. So he's got Sonny Whiting right at the ground, just short. Longer option's probably going to be Groenewegen. Goes in that direction now. It's going to go just over his head though. Bristow the five, but Smith from the side again. Taking some strong overhead contested marks today.
Oh, bad.
He might get a break here though, because Hislop's did okay off the pack. Snap around the corner, dangerous territory here. Ball at the turf, numbers now. Baldock chasing, Launceston steady, do okay. Kick it along the line, Bristow from the side will fly. Can't take the mark. Andrew Lee's tackled really hard, good enough to get the handball. Kick around the corner from Rice, wonderful contest. Shackleton at the ball, he's smothered well by Groenewegen.
Tim Hazel, you've got a special guest for us, mate.
I'll tell you what, boys, supporters are here, supporting the boys. Now, who's your favourite player?
Luke Shackleton.
And are the boys going to win?
We need a big last quarter, but I reckon we'll get there.
I'll tell you what, that looks pretty good. Thanks very much, mate.
No worries.
Thanks, Tim. That was special. It's Myercheck taking the mark. He's done okay, I reckon. The youngster, you mentioned that match up with Thurlow. It's been a feature. As Fox, inside, just inside the boundary line, goes for a little run. Now the kick again, this is where they're breaking down. Ooh. Savage should have marked, spills to ground. Walters working hard. Laycock now with a chance, good tackle. Savage followed up, and now it's with O'Keefe and just gets it on the boot, gets some valuable metres, and Bristow, best position, best placed, gets the mark. Best player for the year, they reckon, Flash.
No doubt about that, Macca. He was just really good with his body positioning there, Timmy Bristow. He'll kick along the line now. Marzek Myers got a paddock in front of him. Banham's chasing hard. Couldn't tackle him. The kick over the top now, I reckon. Finch in terrific position. Finch can't take the mark. At the turf, O'Donoghue. Really good defence down back, but there's a free kick that's going to go to Nathan O'Donoghue. Just as I was about to say that Templeton was really strong and hard. A free kick's been picked out. There's your boys with the Vuvuzelas. Is that what they're called?
Vuvuzela.
Let's just have a look at this in there. Oh, definite hold there. Good decision,
that's
I reckon.
Not the free kick.
That's not the free kick, you're right, it's not.
I'm not sure what the free kick was for. It looks like he ran into his elbow.
Yeah, well, he probably should have got the first one.
If that's possible.
Now, what was I saying about Donoghue? He's a wonderful player and he kicks a goal.
Well, it's a little bit disappointing for Burnie. I don't think they did a lot wrong there, other than the fact that if Andy Lee is in fact playing on Madjak Miar or Meyer?
Yep.
Miar, then...
That'll do, it sounds good.
Well, Miar or Meyer. Well, I like Madjak Miar as a name. But... if, in fact, Andy Lee is playing on young Madjak, then he should be disappointed because he gave him a mountain of space and he tore off down the wing. Then his pace is electric. It was a good kick to Finch. Probably a holding decision there. Could have gone to Finch. So maybe
let's have a look at this one.
Maybe it was a...
Oh, yeah, good decision.
Well,
no, you're happy to pay that, I reckon.
Damien Mackay was unsure. I'm unsure.
Rick Finlay's not in his head.
Rick Finlay's not sure.
I'm unsure as well, boys.
Timmy Hayes was unsure.
Very, very stiff, but the Burnie faithful were absolutely devastated with that. We've lost the ball because when Nathan's kicked it, he's kicked it right out of the stadium. The spare ball down the other end of the oval is just getting kicked up to the centre square so we can resume play.
Well, there's a bloke on the roof, thanks, Timmy. He's just going for a little jog trot here. He's picked up a couple, so he's tucked one each under the arm, and he's off.
I can actually remember...
Over the back of Road. See you later, boys. I've got the footies. I'm headed out.
They're on eBay tonight, boys. So just look in TFL Grand Final.
Say that? No,
eBay.
Well, I was going to make the same point, Flash. North Hobart Oval used to be our stomping ground. We used to make 150 a week down there.
I reckon I've got 6 over the years. Just don't keep that quiet here, Macca.
As the Blues going forward again, gee, that was a good centre clearance. And Ellis, great decision. Could have blazed away. Saw Stevens in short. And this one... well, the last one hurt, and on the stroke of three-quarter time, Scott Stevens can just about, well, start nailing that coffin. I'm not going to get too carried away. There's still a quarter to play. It will make it very, very difficult for the Dockers. The skipper drives it to the left. So, in a quarter in which Launceston just couldn't quite get on the scoreboard,
plenty of opportunities, but it was Burnie kicking 3 goals to Launceston's 2. Still plenty to play for, Flash.
No doubt about that, Jeff. It was interesting there, was that they really came at it hard that first 10 or 12 minutes, Burnie. No doubt about that. But Launceston's last 10, I reckon, the middle section was really tight. They've just held steady, haven't they? And almost should have been probably 25 to 30 points clear. They're really starting to hit Finch up, which is important.
Yeah, I mean, you're dead right there, Flash. It should be a 5-goal lead. If they kick straight, they've missed some very gettable opportunities for goal, which is disappointing from Launceston. It's been a feature of their year, particularly Finch. Kicked 100 goals. You don't kick 100 goals by not kicking straight. So he'd be a little bit down himself. But to Burnie's credit, they really stood tall there. You know, in that last 10 minutes, Launceston had all the momentum. I thought their defence was pretty strong, given the amount of entries that Launceston were able to achieve. They outscored Launceston that quarter, which fares reasonably well. Three goals to 2 heading into this last quarter. Oh, only by 1 point, given all the points scored. Thank you, Rick Finlay, for that, correcting me. But Burnie kicking with a 4-goal breeze heading into this last term. I'm still with Burnie.
It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. We'll just take a look at how things have panned out so far. It was Burnie getting the early jump. Launceston in the second term really stamping their authority. Burnie working hard in the third quarter to get back into it. Wasteful kicking, though, from the Blues, really kicking 2 goals, 6 for the term, letting themselves down. Rowan Baldock has been dangerous all day. What a goal it was to Harry Walters in that term, really to ignite his team. Brian Finch has been dangerous but wasteful. Lonergan with the 1 goal, and it was a special one as well. Thurlow again, a good finish at the start of the third term. Cade Monday's been super with the 16 touches and 1 goal to go with that. Harry Walters, his move forward in this term was decisive. Damon Smith, 15 touches, hasn't necessarily used it, but been really good. Banham always gets his hands on the footy, and I've liked the work of Barrett down back. Pretty quiet from Shackleton. Laycock, the 12 touches, probably needs to lift. Finch has been really busy, hasn't he?
Well, he's come involved. The goal-kicking stat there's the hard one, 2 goals, 4 Jeeves. He's 7 marks. He's starting. They're really starting to pinpoint him. Scotty Stevens has been working. What about O'Keefe as a player? We saw him nearly knocked out cold last week. He does a job every week. Bristow just sort of faded away, I thought, in that third quarter.
Yeah, he looked a little bit tight. He actually didn't. He came off the ground once only in that first term, so they've been wary of his rotations as we look at some highlights.
So this was a finish to Jackson Thurlow. Yes. We mentioned he's kicked some big goals, none bigger than that one. Just a great finish. See Brian Finch in the foreground. He was instrumental. Now Cade Monday drifted forward. The skipper, they really needed this one. It was against the run of play. But it really did signal the start of a good patch for the Dockers. They started to get a bit more run, and this goal, well, super effort from Walters. Ran around the man on the mark, has a bounce from 40 out against the run of play. That really gave his team a lift. Goal of the day so far for mine. And then followed it up. This one was always going through. Baldock on the line. And whenever he gets it one-on-one, Rowan Baldock, he's deadly.
He's just kept him in the 2 as he kicked 3 goals. He's looked lively every time. This was the interesting one. I didn't mind the umpire's decision in the second thought. We thought it was the first one, of course, when Finch got tugged by the jumper. The Dockers supporters didn't like. The inside 50s are the really interesting stat here for me. They've really kicked clear Launceston Jersey, 10 more, and they're starting to get on top around the ground. The work of O'Donoghue and Groenewegen with the hit-outs has been interesting, and look at the centre clearances.
Well, we saw Launceston's midfield start to dominate that last 10 minutes. I think it would have been reasonably even, the inside 50s, outside of maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes of that quarter. But the big surprise there is a hit-out, 16 to 10. Jason Laycock and Andy Lee as we cross down to Anthony Taylor.
In the face. But more importantly, we need to stay calm. You've got to be clean with your skills. Okay, we all know the reward at the end of the day if we can fight this out, but you need to be clean with your skills. You need a one-on-one contest across the ground. Okay, moving into the wind a little, we need blokes coming at the ball carrier. Okay, we just need to not panic. You've got to stay calm, you've got to stay focused. You've played 21 games of footy this year, boys, and we're not about to panic and start inventing new things in the last quarter of a grand final. Sure, we know what's at stake, but we stick to what we've been doing and we stick to what we know works. All right? Now I'm just asking you, I'm pleading for you for yourselves. Come on. You've got 30 minutes, boys. Come on. 30 minutes. Can you find something as an individual? Come on. Can you help get your mate up? Can you give the team something? And can you come home with a cup?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, if that doesn't get the hairs on the back of the neck standing up, David Lithgow, I'm not sure what will. You know Anthony Taylor well. He's not a man who's an excitable type.
No.
He generally keeps it pretty cool. He knows what's at stake, doesn't
Well, he does, and that was a really good address. It was just short, sharp and simple and to the point. Interesting too, Brett Plant still got his troops over there. Unfortunately, we can't have the cameras in both angles. Of course, we'll get Timmy Hazel to see what actually happened down there, but just very clear, simple, just message to the players there, Jeeva.
I wouldn't have expected that from Anthony Taylor. That was a Lance Spalding type pep talk. I mean, that was outstanding in terms of inspirational chats from your coach. I'm a little bit edgy now. That was outstanding. I think we're going to cross down to Tim Hazel, who has got a little bit of word on the Burnie camp.
Yeah, thanks, Jeevesy. I'll tell you what, Brett Plant, he spoke so quietly then, I was really struggling to hear. I had to actually lean in. I was basically up on one of the boys' shoulders trying to find out what he was saying to his players. He spoke about the first 5 minutes. He spoke about the importance of the game. No tomorrow, just like Anthony Taylor said at halftime. But one of the things he said was, we're not out of the game. We've got speed, we've got fitness, and we've got youth. And they're the things that they're really going to find and really try to explore this quarter. They said that we can beat Launceston. We're here to win. We're not going to leave until we do that. So expect the Burnie boys, led by Shaq and Mundy, and these older boys to come out pretty firing. Back up to you, boys.
It could be a pretty long week, Damo, if they're not going to leave until they beat Launceston. We could be here for some time.
Yeah, it's a good point, but, well, 18 points down going into the last quarter of a grand final. You just got to leave it all out there, don't you? You don't want to wake up tomorrow morning thinking, what if?
That's why I liked Harry Walters' 2 or 3 minutes of brilliance. You know, he took the game on, created 2 goals. That's really what Burnie need to do in this last quarter. They need to take the game on. They lose by 10 goals, they lose by 10 goals, but you know, they need to outscore Launceston 5 goals to 2 effectively to win this game.
Spot on. So 30 minutes of football remaining in season 2011. It's the Blues leading by 3 goals. The Dockers will throw absolutely everything at them. Don't worry about that. David Lithgow.
Cade Mundy just gets this one going forward. A scrappy kick, but a dangerous one in a sense. Numbers there with Rudy Barrett at the full. Gigi's doing well there with Zachary Heslop. Kick around the corner. They love the first one here, but not going to get it.
Your boy.
So they've just been so good in defence. Savage and this man, Devissa, really strong, impressive game, as well as Baldock's done. He's been good, as is this guy here from the first kick, almost Luke McCabe, along with Jordan Harris. Some of the names we don't normally talk about, but the turnover on that occasion, Nick McKenna in board, he finds Shackleton. So he's got numbers, just steadying the ship here. They desperately need the first goal. There's no question about that. They've only kicked 5 today. You'd reckon they'd need at least 5 to win this game of footy. Marjak Meyer flying in front of Laycock. Little scurried kick out. Shackleton's probably best placed with his body here. Just couldn't take the mark. Ball at the turf. Big contest here. Bristow kept his feet at the fall there. Rice did okay. Handball inboard. It's going to end up now with McKenna. Thurlow tackling. Releasing Monday. Kick now into the middle of the ground. They need a mark here. The Dockers. The fly. Jesse Lonigan. The rebound now. They're going in spades here. Launceston forward. Finch one out. Can't take the mark. Over the back. It's the pack. Finch hits a goal. He kicks a goal, Brian Finch, the Centurion.
Free kick, David Lithgow. There's a free kick going against Brian Finch amongst all that. I think there may have been a use of the hand in the back. It looked like it was all legitimate to me. Maybe forearm.
It was against Donahue, boys.
Against Donahue, was it? Off the ball?
It was.
Well, that was the moment the premierships are made of. First of all, Jesse Lonigan, the intercept mark in the middle of the ground. I thought that just about would be enough. They would have gone to 4 goals up. As it stands, the margin's still 18 points. Meyer, oh, gee, terrific kick on the non-preferred. Now, Bristow just lackadaisical. McCabe steps inside. This one will hurt. McCabe drives it over the goal umpire's head.
Well, that makes it very difficult for Burnie now. They really need to kick the first goal. Excuse me, I'm choking on my words. I haven't even said anything wrong. Burnie had the momentum out of the opening bounce there, and they really needed to score the first one. Turnover in the middle of the ground. The young man there in the middle of the ground was Lonigan, who created that turnover. Unfortunately for the Dockers, it's gone Launceston's way, but it probably should have happened earlier than that with Finch's goal being not allowed. Burnie, they just need to be a little bit tighter with their foot skills.
Do you love the work of Marjak Meyer in there? Could have blazed away, saw the option inboard, the left foot, and found its target. So 4 goals the margin, and it's Beau Green in there working hard. Shackleton's got him. You can just sense Shackleton just doing everything he can at the moment, willing himself to try and turn this match in his team's favour. But 4 goals adrift. Just over 3 minutes into the last term. It's going to be awfully difficult as Thurlow out of the air. And Stevens with the run of it. The bounce favoured Fox, who just paddled it forward. Green arrives for the Blues. The hands to Thurlow was good. Inside 50 now. Milverton with courage. Oh, terrific. Finch coming the other way, both players. Boundary line wins out.
See Milverton there, putting his body on the line, going back with the flight of the ball. Courageous stuff. Needing a little bit more of that from Burnie.
They certainly are needing something. As Laycock and O'Donoghue, I have to say O'Donoghue's effort so far has been superb. As Bristow, little underground hand pass. McCabe knew he had Stevens out wide. He couldn't get it to him. Templeton did well. Over the top, Mychek wanted the run. Probably just needed to get it out of the area as McKenna now. Bristow still working hard. Could have given away the free he has. So a reprieve here for Burnie. And, well, play on advantage after about 15 seconds had passed, it seems. So Templeton all on his own. Wants Walters, who's in trouble now. Numbers win out. Meyer covering the ground beautifully. Gets it inboard to Groenewegen. Follows up, still running. Now he's got a problem.
Yes.
Turns inboard. Groenewegen will try and spot up a target, but the kick, well, favoured. Gee, Stevens did well. Got it again. The captain, 5 goals up. The Blues are almost home, you'd think.
Well, Templeton, he had the ball with space coming out of the fence. He probably had 70 metres between him and the true centre-half forward. He should have just had 7 or 8 bounces, tried to draw the player and then gone over the top and created that way. He tried to pinpoint a pass, turnover, Launceston goal. Scott Stevens outstanding in front of the big sticks. I'm happy to call it. It's game over.
Boys, the thing about Scott Stevens is he's been down all game. He's a leader, and leaders bounce back, and leaders don't drop their heads, and that's exactly what he's done. It's taken to the 4th quarter to put his stamp on the game, but he's done that, and that's a sign of a great leader and a fantastic finish by Scotty Stevens.
So desperation stakes here now for the Burnie Dockers. It's 5 goals the margin. And this is not going to help things here with the free kick going to... No, won't go to Bristow. So it's going to Darren Banham. He's another that's been really a bit down here. They've got to find some space here with Nick McKenna. Kicking forward. Bulldogs going to have an opportunity with a sit here, but too big, too strong. Gary Shipton liked his game. Took the mark and steadies really well for the Launceston Blues. All theirs to lose at the moment, the TSL Premiership for 2011. Marjak Myers a chance here. He nearly spoiled Ellis, who did well in front, just took off here while he's tackling here. He's gone. Benham did well. Really well.
I thought he may have got that one out there, Flash, with a little bit of a foot, but obviously not.
He bounced is the problem, I think. He took a bounce and got a tackle on, and that is a no-no. Andrew Lee coming forward, taking a mark. So throwing caution to win now, Brett Plan. He's got all the big guns up where they need to be. Laycock, Bulldogs there as well. Did okay to affect the spoil Monday at the fall. Hislop now, kick around the corner. They need a mark here. Divisa did well, trying to lock it in here now. Ball up, Myers tackling, lost the footy. Walters, Bo Green. They need a steady one here. O'Keefe did okay, but just gave it up to Hislop at the fall. Shackleton working hard. Savage at the back, just buttering up here, and they'll go away with some really clean footy from Jordan Harris.
Did well, although the kick just put it at the feet of Woolley. Lonergan working hard again. So much to like about him as Bristow just cruises past. He's got numbers outside. Woolley will want his left foot, falling to ground. Hand pass was smothered. Banham is still working hard. He drives the Dockers forward again. Jim McKenna, a big chance if the runner gets out of his way. Dances around one, then loses the footy. It's been that sort of afternoon. He gets a free kick in the end. Savage just a little bit too willing there. So Nick McKenna. And the kick, well, just losing it there. It seemed Hislop, not sure what was going on. He was free, but, well, they just really stuffed it up in the end. And just they haven't been able to get any clean ball use going forward. The Launceston defenders, their midfielders have been dropping back, and they just haven't been able to find a winner. Bulldogs look dangerous, but just can't get the space at the moment.
Well, Maccary's lost that in the exact same spot that Scott Stevens lost the ball. I'm wondering if that sun is actually playing a part.
Yeah, good point. Certainly is a bright afternoon here at York Park. Bristow just tried to give it to the run of Lonergan. It was a little bit ambitious, but Lonergan, gee, works hard and they end up fighting for it at ground level. Ellis did well. Almost a throw it was as Lee, he's wrapped up. Terrific tackle on by Woolley. David Lithgow throwing the arms about. What about the free kick, he says. All's well that ends well as Stevens will drive it forward. O'Donoghue in front, did well just to bring it down to his own advantage and taps it back. Needed support, but it's all Burnie. Myercheck, he almost could have got the free. Collected high, dusts himself off, gets back involved. Checks the nose for a bit of clarity. I think everything's okay. Scott Stevens with the ball at ground level.
Well, Brent Plant needs to throw caution to the wind, does he? He probably needs to get Andy Lee on the ball or around the ball. As I say that, I see Andy Lee on the ball, so that's a bit of a positive sign. Try and get him involved. But at this stage, it just looks like Launceston just holding them off.
Just really starting to outmuscle them here, the Blues. The kick forward, Finch on the burst. Brian Finch is going to go on pretty quickly here, as he know. He'll steady. He's got Bristow over the top. He's got a lead here. He honours it. Sonny Whiting.
Fast Sonny Whiting is. He's got some good pace. We saw him against Clarence last week. Tear Timmy Castles apart in the first quarter, kicking a couple of goals. He's been quite impressive. He's been good again today.
So Sonny Whiting, he'll kick from about 40 metres out in the slightest of angles. The wonderful game last week. He was the spark that ignited, put out the flame of Clarence last week. This is a big kick, and it's an awful kick, quite frankly, which would have probably sealed the game here for Launceston. As it is, it's a 31-point margin. Launceston 9 goals, 11, 65. That'll be 66 in a minute. Leading Burnie 5 goals, 5, 35.
It's an interesting day in front of the sticks, Sonny Whiting.
Yeah.
Looked dangerous all day, but his goal kicking has been abysmal. As Rudy Barrett at true centre-half back, and Lee the target, he's got him. So Andy Lee, who before the match was really shaping as a pivotal figure, just hasn't been able to get going this afternoon. That's a nice kick. Finds Walters, who's been good since going forward, but really has been the forward half where they've struggled. Devissa just clears it with a defensive fist. McKenna working hard, but it spills Sinclair with the run of it. Almost got into the back of Templeton. Whiting now just stepped through a bit of traffic and fed it back to Gronewegan. That's a shonky old kick. It's going to fall into the lap of Darren Bannum, and he's got Andy Lee inboard. So the Dockers will really need to do something special and do it in a hurry. As Barrett, he's got some space, so play opening up. The players are getting tired. They've got numbers over the back. Radford, Laycock will fly. He couldn't quite. The crowd down that end got excited, but the Blues holding firm as they have done all afternoon. Meyer steps through a couple. Gee's been impressive. Every time he plays, he seems to improve. Bristow now to fly from behind. Oh, good mark in front, Stevenson. So the Dockers through Whiting. That's terrific. Bannum now butters up. Lee did well, got it back to Myercheck. Needs an option. Needed to hurry as well. As Hardy now in trouble. O'Donoghue's got him. The Blues pressing hard and wrapping it up there. I reckon they'll be happy with that, Launceston. Pressure's been good.
Boys, a couple of Launceston gun midfielders have come up with cramps. Scotty Stevens and also Jesse Lonigan. Nothing to stress about, but the boys are working hard and just needed that little bit of a break and massage.
A couple of veterans certainly working hard for their unit today, and ultimate glory might be just around the corner. Ellis's kick's a ripper. Bending kick, laying the chest of Brian Finch. He goes over the top very unselfishly. Bristow will return the favour, gives it to Thurlow, and he kicks the sealer.
Team football from Launceston. I really enjoyed their defensive pressure on Burnie. They forced a turnover through a smother. Burnie had no chance of penetrating the ball forward. They just corralled them into the pocket of the forward 50 there. Turn the ball over. Finch, Mark, over the top again, and a beautiful goal. Launceston look like they're doing this quite comfortably now.
Just about game, set and match. Jackson Thurlow, again, is deadly around the goals. A pretty simple one, that one, must be said, but forward line structure just working so much better. They're finding space, they've got options, they look dangerous, and their pressure has given them plenty of opportunities. So 6 goals the margin. The Burnie supporters haven't given up, you can hear them, but at the moment, it's all Launceston as Milverton and Myercheck fight each other for it. Meyer almost, Sinclair the left footer, and that's not going to register a score. Finch though in best position, almost, and the clearing kick fortuitously finds Barrett, although he's turned it over again. And O'Donoghue, well, he'll be thereabouts, I reckon, Flash, and the kick, just over the top of Whiting. Still though with Sinclair, again the left footer, he's got options. Stevens, yeah. Well played. The Blues, well, they were the dominant force in the NTFL. They arrived in the State League and weren't quite up to it in the first year. Last year, they were yapping at the heels of Clarence all season, but couldn't quite. They fell over badly in September. This year has been about retribution, redemption, and getting that premiership they so eagerly craved. As Scott Stevens, the skipper, they're home.
And they've done it this afternoon through the use of their foot skills. They've just been AFL-like today. They've penetrated the zones of Burnie. They've gone long if they've needed to, and then as they've come down the wing, they just hit up their targets. Brian Finch has been on the end of a few superb kicks. Scott Stevens finding himself on the end of one there, and most certainly that should be game, set and match. Scott Stevens is a man that you've got to feel pretty happy for. He's certainly a veteran of the competition. He gives his all every week, and to be able to play in a premiership team in the statewide league is just outstanding for him.
Certainly a wonderful player. Of course, broke his arm early in the season, which was a big issue, of course, but he's fought back really well, had a good year. His last 2 years, he's had a lot of injury troubles, the skipper, but he was the former Tassie Devils captain, of course. He's a wonderful player, Scott Stevens, and he's led his side today to what will be a famous statewide victory. Plenty of football to be played out yet, as at the fall there, Hardy. It's been a bit quiet. He's had a number of teammates that have done the same. McKenna in ball, Rudy Barrett's tried hard. So Rudy Barrett, Sting well and truly out of the game today now. He drives it long. The fly from Laycock, he's threatened to take a big one today, can't do so. Taking the ground there, Chris Savage. The running carry now from Woolley. Really good Marjak Meyer at the fall, balancing up. Thurlow did well, picked up the crumb. Kick out in the front of Finch now. Needs it to sit. Templeton to be right there with him. Finch with the experience. Picked up the footy. Kick around the corner. Thurlow fly. Couldn't take the mark. Ball at the turf. Numbers here with Sinclair. Turning, twisting, finding Sonny Whiting.
Well, I don't want to speak, David Lithgow. That's one of the calls of the year as they came streaming down the flank. Brian Finch's foot speed today has been outstanding. I didn't realise he was that quick. I assumed he was a bit of a bustling forward, maybe a little bit a step slow and strong in the marking contest, but his speed's been a feature today. And Launceston are about to kick their 12th and win themselves. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we've all done it, Jeezy. We've all done it. And Sonny Whiting.
I've been awful today.
His day in front of the sticks hasn't got any better. It's not going to matter. And really, if they had have kicked straight, we could be looking at a pretty ugly scoreboard at the moment, because the Dockers...
Well, Brett Gavin said 10 goals. He was laughed at a bit last week, which was interesting. It's going to show it wasn't far from the mark.
No, they certainly made a statement here this afternoon. And they're going to win a well-deserved premiership. Gee, O'Donoghue has copped some knocks this afternoon. He's worked so hard. All the talk pre-match was the influence of Laycock, Lee, Stevenson, the big men for Burnie. O'Donoghue has shouldered most of the load. Gronewegan and Meyer have provided crucial support, but it really was O'Donoghue at the front line. Yes. He's done well. Got it down. McCabe bundled out of play by Smith.
Well, Mackie, you're a sensible soul and probably the only one up in the box here. Who does win the medal today? Who has been the best on ground in your eyes?
Look, as much as it pains me, because Flash called it, but he's thereabouts. He's just, and given the context what we were talking about, where Burnie's strengths were, as we'll watch this bit of play unfold, I'll come back to you as Rice to Smith again, the bodywork. Oh, terrific tackle, Boyce. That's why they were so keen to get him back in the team as soon as he was ready. Now it's Stevens. The kick inside 50. Finch on the move. Has to do it at ground level again. Hasn't had the best of service today, Brian Finch. It doesn't matter. Sinclair, the left footer, was always missing to the near side. They're romping home the Blues.
And though we saw Finch create 5 or 6 metres on his defender just through his explosive speed off that 10 or 15 metre mark.
So they bring the footy back in. Smith, he's worked hard. No doubt about his effort today. Damon Smith should be very happy with his output, but across the ground they've been comprehensively beaten. Gary Shipton, after a quiet game last week, really put his hand up. Inboard they find Nathan O'Donoghue from one end of the ground to the other. Super game. Inboard now, an opportunity with Sinclair with the fly. McKenna dropped back in the hole. Jesse Lonergan at the full. Kicked it long. Finch one out again. Templeton did pretty well that time with the body contest. Handball inboard. Run and carry now there of Milverton. Kick out in the front of Banham. He's been well held, Banham. Taking over the boundary line, Jordan Harris.
It's been a good contest, I reckon. Finch and Templeton.
Yeah, really good.
Finch, I think, probably gets the points in the end, but Templeton hasn't stopped trying.
No doubt about that, Mac. I think he's spot on. And if he had kicked straight, he's been a key element in this game. Without his straight kicking all that aside, Fox did okay. Picked up the footy. Smith now. Kick in front of a foot race here. Now, Joe Boyce is quick enough, too, to keep up with Monday. Did well, Boyce. Really burn off his opponent now. Just scrubbed it forward. Thurlow, normally clever. Balance, kept his feet. At the fall, Sonny Whiting. Boyce will lend to Shepherd, does so. Around the corner, Whiting now. He's got targets going forward. And taking a mark there is Shepherd, Corey Shepherd, who'll get an opportunity to kick his first goal of the day.
Well, Boyce has come into the team today. He's been outstanding, hasn't he? He's really his tackling pressure and his running is just been it's been superb. So it's always tough. Someone misses out, and for Boyce to come in and put all that behind him, and he's played a terrific game.
So Corey Shepherd, with his little piece of glory on grand final day, starts at left, bends it just to the right, and misses to the near side, one behind. 11 goals, 14, the Blues 80. And they lead Burnie 5 goals, 5, 35.
It's a good point, Brett, you mentioned with Joe Boyce, and we should spare a thought for Sam Rundle, who's played pretty much every game this year in terms of being part of that magnificent unbeaten run, and unfortunately, Boyce was always going to come back, and he was the one to go. As we see the whistle on the play here, it'll be a free kick to Andy Lee. We're told that Boyce had to survive a pretty rigorous fitness test during the week.
And what was that involved?
They were doing a little bit of just sort of groundwork, just feeding the ball in below the knees, and he'd come out and pick it up, but then without telling him, they had Scott Stevens lined up ready to bowl him over every second or third go. So he survived that. Stevens said he hit him with a couple of good ones, so they figured he must have been okay.
Maybe Scott Stevens was just imagining it was Tim Payne picking up the ball and was lining up Tim Payne.
Yeah, well, wasn't that
after last week's incident? Was quite
knife through butter.
So Stevenson trying to fist it forward for the Dockers. Shackleton working hard, was bundled out of the contest. And Bristow to see the ball out of play. They've had plenty of contributors, though, haven't they?
I was about to say, I've liked Big Marjak's game. And he was really good last week coming in the side. Again, at the expense of the unlucky Edwards. They've just more even. And really, right through the year, they've just had the most even 22, I guess 26, 27 players. And had a pretty good run with the injuries, to be fair. Banham now at the 4. He's going to kick it forward here. An opportunity over the back Monday with his body. But sees it through for 1 behind 44 points. The margin now. O'Keefe with the footy. He'll bring it in. So it's been a lovely day here at Aurora Stadium. And the Blues, after a second semi, almost a collapse going through the regular season undefeated, have really rebounded in the strongest possible fashion.
And Corey Shepherd, it is taking the mark on true centre wing and just pops it over the top. The sting well and truly gone out of this one, although Banham trying hard, affected the spoil, followed up, took the mark and drives the Dockers forward again. That's a good mark as well. Walters certainly got a bit to be excited about going forward, the Dockers. Plenty of talented youngsters. Harry Walters driving it forward. And over the back, Radford working hard. He's done well. And after an extensive break, it's taken plenty of time. The Dockers get their 6th goal.
I think that goal came from Launceston's tired legs. They've run themselves into the ground. They are going to win this game, but it has been their running and their kicking that's got them through to the final, got them through the roster games undefeated, which is almost unheard of in the modern game. So you can only take your hat off to them, and Burnie have just snuck in a late one because of those tired legs.
So ball back in the middle. Matty Stevenson will start again. The question's got to be asked for players like him. How long have they got to go? 35 years of age.
We'll get to that in a moment. Tim Hazel, you've got a pretty happy coach down there.
I tell you what, Anthony, fantastic game. You've been the blue-collar workers today and you've come out with the goods.
Yeah, look, they've been terrific. It's been a brilliant game of footy and just great to come over.
Mate, get over there and enjoy it because I'm going to watch your face at the end. Well done, mate.
Well done, Timmy Hazel there, speaking with Anthony Taylor. He sounds a little bit emotional to me, the fella they call Beaver. And well, mighty be, what a wonderful effort that's been. A real contribution right across the board. The Colts winning the game this morning. against Clarence. He looks thrilled. Pleased his punch, and good luck to the Lonnie Football Club. This has been a memorable day. Sonny Whiting. Just a little bit more to add today. He's been a spark. Hasn't been the greatest day in front of goals. He'd like to finish with one straight one here, and Sonny does.
Well, he's been outstanding day, Whiting. The forward line seemed to work really well together at Launceston with Finch. Groenewegen been down there today. I've been a bit surprised by Groenewegen playing the majority of his game forward. Not a lot of time in the ruck. Of course, your man O'Donoghue's been outstanding in stopping the force that is Jason Laycock. But the forward line setup of Launceston and the midfield entries, if you get enough entries, the likes of Finch and Whiting will just dominate games, and that's what's happened late in the game today.
Often happens, doesn't it, in a grand final, once the team sort of realises that the game is gone. It can be very difficult to keep persevering in. It's well and truly party time now for the Blues. 44 points up, and they're going forward again, although well played in there from Smith just to hold things up.
Well, it can go one of two ways, can't it, Macca? Either, you know, you're gracious in defeat, which is what's happened with Burnie, and you would expect that because of their coach, Brent Plant, or teams go the knuckle, which we've seen from teams this year in other competitions, and it's just not a great way to finish the final. But Burnie have been outstanding today, very gracious.
Yeah, credit to them as the Blues going forward again. Smith again working hard, fighting Templeton for the footy, his teammate. It spills out to Myercheck. He's got numbers out on the far side. Stevenson lays it straight off to Banham, who hasn't stopped trying. Jim Meyer, the chase was good. Banham was good enough just to step inside.
Well done, Marjek Meyer.
He kept chasing and driving forward. But that Blues defence has just been rock solid all afternoon. They've given nothing away. Just the 6 goals Burnie's been able to conjure. They kicked 2 very early. And here's Beau Green. He's been good as well. Every line they've had contributors. And he finds his man in Thurlow.
So, Thurlow, now kick O'Donoghue with a set. Went a bit early, gave away the free kick. Myercheck took the mark anyway. Brody Myercheck, one of the top Tassie draft hopefuls, I guess. Hasn't had the greatest game today in what's been a pressure cooker environment from the start. Robbie Fox, another one of those talented youngsters that they've got so many of them. 9 teenagers today. Hislop being one of them. Kick in board now. An opportunity from Mark McKenna, been well held at both ends of the ground. So the releasing kick now will find Joey Boyce back in the tone today. Won't he be delighted he got through that really big fitness test by Scotty Stevens nonetheless. Inboard to Sinclair. The kick now finds Ellis. He's a smooth mover. Ellis is a good user. And there it is. The Launceston Football Club have came and have conquered. They came to second semi-final undefeated. Had their year turned on its head, and haven't they responded? The Lottie Blues Premiers 2011.
Well, it's just been a fantastic year for Launceston. They've taken out the Colts title this morning, the comprehensive win over Clarence, and the senior team has emulated that, and then have given the Burnie Dockers a bit of a football lesson in terms of how to play team sport. They ran together, and we saw the 3/4 time huddle with Anthony Taylor was inspirational. He's played just a massive part in the emergence of the Launceston Football Club. And I guess the improvement on their finals campaign from last year, which they would have been extremely disappointed with, and to be able to come away this year with the chocolates is just outstanding and extremely well deserved.
Shows plenty of character, doesn't it? Not only bouncing back from the disappointment of last year, but we talk about a fortnight ago, losing to Burnie at York Park, second semi-final, when everyone expected them to win. They regrouped. There's Anthony Taylor, the emotion boiling over. We talked about he's been such an affable, I guess, take it easy sort of character all season, but you can see right there what this victory means to him. The last time Launceston won a state premiership was 1938, so a long time between drinks when we're talking that level of achievement. Of course, they were the powerhouse of the NTFL, winning 3 consecutive flags, 2006, 2007 and 2008. They joined the State League in 2009 with high hopes. They were disappointed in their first year, disappointed in their second year, and at the 3rd attempt, they finally got what they came for. That's a State League premiership. Anthony Taylor and the Launceston Football Club, very well done.
Well, I've enjoyed Anthony Taylor's coaching. He's come certainly into this game with a different setup. He played Finch out of the goal square. Started with him outside of the 50. Ended up after half time playing from the goal square, and that was instrumental. But we saw against Clarence, he played him outside of the 50 with great effect. Whiting and these boys, played terrific games and used their pace. We might just take this in for a moment.
Certainly plenty of happy boys down there, Jeevesy. We might, wouldn't want to get too close. We might hear a few colourful language. You see the boys are pretty excited. They've just got a really good mix, though, haven't they? You talk about the youngsters like Thurlow and Monaghan, who are big contributors in this team, but then at the other end, Brian Finch, he said during the week that they win the premiership, it could be it for him. He's played plenty of football. Sam O'Keefe has played plenty of football. Scott Stevens. A lot of guys have played a lot of football together. They've experienced success together, and now they've got the ultimate success at the top level.
Wouldn't that drive you to go on for another year? I mean, back-to-back is obviously something that a lot of clubs and teams strive for, and Brian Finch has obviously still got the speed, and Tim Hazel, we're going to throw down to you. You've got Timmy Bristow.
Indeed, boys, and the Tassie medalist, now premiership player. Well done, congratulations. How you feeling?
I don't know, mate. It's a bit of a shock, really. Doesn't really feel like we won it, but yeah, I don't know. Speechless at the moment. So.
Now, I'll tell you what, it's been a big day. You're in the warm-up, you get pulled out to collect the medal for Tassie medal. How did that feel?
Oh, look, that was even more of a shock. I think, obviously, I believe Cameron Thurley's obviously the best player in the league, but I don't know. Best and fairest, I suppose I got the fairest part of it. I don't know, but yeah, it's not about that anyway. The boys deserve everything today, and I'm going to use it as a team.
I tell you what, and the thing is, mate, you won it in a really hard way. Like, it took sort of 3 quarters for the game to break up for you boys to run away with it.
Yeah, we always trusted in our leg speed, our run, our gut running is what we pride ourselves on. And we just had to, obviously, after the second semi, work on our contested footy, and I think we won the clearances today, which was a plus. And yeah, I don't know, everyone just gave everything, and I think yeah, that's what got us over the line, mate, with our running.
I tell you what, here in Launceston, everyone's up and about. Everyone's really pumped that you boys have won it. Your coach is super happy. Go and enjoy the night. Congratulations.
Mate. Cheers, buddy. Good on you.
Now, boys, we'll just continue down here because we've got Anthony Taylor, the premiership coach. It's official. You are a premiership coach. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. It's just been a fantastic effort throughout the year, and you know, it was a tough encounter. We knew it would be, and they just stood up when it really mattered.
You know, you've got experienced players, Finch, Stevens, but then you had the younger brigade today, Lonergan, Thurlow. These players really step up and play a great brand of football.
Exactly, and I thought Jackson Thurlow especially was terrific today. He was clean. A lot's been said about our leaders and our older players, but gee whiz, our kids and our second and third year players really stood up this year. Today again, but this year as a whole.
So it's going to be a big night tonight.
Oh, mate, it's going to be a big week.
Get in there, Tails. Congratulations. Thanks, boys.
He's one of the more likeable characters in Tasmanian football, Anthony Taylor. You certainly wouldn't begrudge him any success, would you?
Well, what I enjoyed about that was the chap in the background just sipping on his beer. I found that quite humorous. But no, Launceston, you know, the clear winners. We're going to cross down and listen. They've just finished the song, unfortunately, so we've missed that. Sorry to the Launceston fans who were keen to get a glimpse of that. But no, as I said, they've been the stellar team of the year, and they certainly deserve all their success. I certainly hope that Stevens and Finch and the older type of guys certainly stick around, because they've got a lot of young depth coming through. It's important that the older players, you know, stick around, even if it is in a coaching position, to make sure that those guys have the correct mentors in place to be able to carry on the Launceston dominance.
Well, no doubt they'll enjoy the victory, but of course, whenever a team wins a premiership, inevitably you start thinking about, well, let's go back to back, let's keep this success going. So I think that's a good point, and that will be key, I think, whether the veterans you talked about, whether they will continue playing. And speaking of the veterans, we've got the captain, Scott Stevens.
Favourite down here, the crowd love you. You've come out and won the game. Congratulations.
Wow, I don't really know what to say, Timmy. That's pretty special. I mean, everyone doubted us after Burnie knocked us off a couple of weeks ago, and it really was a good wake-up call for us and something that we really needed. And as I said, we told a few home truths to each other and talked about the positives, what we're going to do, how we're going to change our game. And to the boys' credit, they answered everything, absolutely everything. And I'm so proud of them. We've got a great mix of youth, young stars, Jesse and Jacko, and a good mix of old fellas like Finchy and Gino. I don't know what their plans are, whether they want to hang them up or not, but it's a bloody good way to go out, Timmy, I reckon.
How about you, mate? Are you going to hang them up, or are you going to go around again?
Nah. I promised Tails we'll go around again, so I reckon I've got a couple more years left in mid-offer. So
you're looking sharp, but the thing that I loved about today was the game. It took a while to break up, and what was the message at three-quarter time?
Oh, it was all about will, just work rate, continue to work them over. We showed in that second quarter against the Breeze that we started to get our running game going a bit. We started to control the ball, and it was just all about will and just passion for each other. And to the boys' credit, they ran home with it, and yeah, I'm so proud of them, mate.
Timmy Briscoe won the Tassie medal. You must be wrapped for him.
Absolutely stoked for him, mate. I really am. Great reward for him. He's had a super year, thoroughly deserved. And we've cleaned up down the Windsor. I think we've got the Colts, the Rising Star, Timmy Bristow, winning the Tassie medal, so she's all coming back to Windsor tonight.
Now, one of the things that I loved was Anthony Taylor's speech at three-quarter time. Tell us a little bit about that.
I can't really remember it, Timmy, to be exact honest, mate.
It was motivating.
There was a fair bit of emotion and a bit of motivation there, and I was just eyeballing him, mate, and just trying to worry about what I can do.
You're a premiership captain, you deserve it. Enjoy the night. Congratulations.
Thanks, Timmy.
Back up to you, boys.
He was very happy there, Scott Stevens, and I get the feeling there's going to be some pretty heavy celebrations at Windsor Park tonight, Jersey.
Well, you could just see a little bit of a gleam in Scotty Stevens' eye, maybe the beginning of a tear, which is just outstanding. He's captain of the team, a leader. The way he fought back after half-time, Timmy Hazel touched on it, was just outstanding. He had a quiet first half. I don't think he was tagged out of the game. I certainly didn't notice any matchups in the first half that anyone going direct to Stevens, but he certainly had a major influence after half-time, and as captain, leader of the squad, he's going to be extremely thrilled.
He talked about the second quarter, which really seemed to be that moment in the game where Launceston, you could see it was really their ball use. I thought they just started using the ball a bit more sharply, worked their way on top. It took them a while for that to show on the scoreboard, but really from that stage they seemed to control the contest.
Well, for me it was a bit of a surprise. I expected Burnie to use the 4-goal breeze that was, and there was quite a breeze down at ground level to full effect in that second quarter, and they couldn't, of course, and Launceston effectively broke the game open. That when they get their running game on and their skills are up and about, there's no one in the competition, obviously, that can beat them, which is a little bit of a stupid thing to say because they've just won the grand final. Well done, Brett. You've played that well. But, no, look, full credit to them. I guess we probably need to spare a thought for the Burnie Dockers, who have really emerged as one of the teams, one of my favourite teams to watch. I like their bigs in Laycock and Lee, who probably struggled a bit today. Donahue for Launceston just nullified them, was outstanding, and probably a chance for the Best on Ground award, I would have thought.
Big chance, I reckon. Another player who would be in the mix, certainly if Anthony Taylor's words are anything to go by, is Jackson Thurlow. He joins us now.
And he's very excited. Jackson, congratulations. You're a young player to win in a premiership. How's it feel?
It's unreal, mate. Down the Lonnie, we're like brothers down there, so it's even better to win a premiership.
And, you look back at your year, and it's been a big year for you. You're in the Mariners program, and then you've come into Launceston, playing senior football. Talk us through your year.
Well, training with the Mariners, you sort of miss a bit of club footy, but Taylor's unreal with that. He accepts it. He knows what's best for our footy, so accepts it well, and we just keep on rolling.
The experienced players for Launceston, they must just help you week in, week out.
Yeah, they lead the way and we just follow.
Now, you as a player, you're quick, you're agile, you've just got these skills. Football's obviously your passion, and you performed today.
Yeah, no, it's a sport I love and a sport I want to play, so...
Well done, you're going to have a big night. Congratulations.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for that. Nice.
Now, Brett, you've played in a few premierships. Not football premierships, of course, or did you might have played in a few in your junior days?
I lost one, actually, an under-19 final against Clarence, which was disappointing. Well, still haunts me.
Okay, sorry to have brought that one up, but that feeling, being part of a team and going through a season and finally getting the ultimate success, there's few things that top that.
Oh, look, I mean, yeah, exactly. Or probably scoring a hole-in-one in golf is a little bit better than that, being a bit of an individual. But, no, look, playing a team sport and knowing that you've put in the hard yards and effectively you've done it together. There are no individuals in successful premiership-winning teams. Doesn't matter what sport it is, if you've got those sorts of guys in your team, they're very quickly out of there or they need to change their approach to the game. And you look at Launceston and you listen to young Thurlow speaking there, and it is evident that they're a very strong group and led well by Stevens and Taylor, and they'll certainly enjoy this. And that which has been the feature of my premierships is that I've enjoyed the next week, so I've always been thereabouts.
Absolutely, and it's very easy to say in hindsight. I mean, coming into the game, there were plenty of people who thought Launceston might struggle. They were worried about Burnie's tools, but they really were the deserving winners. And when you look back in the season, it made sense that they'd be the premiership winners, doesn't it?
I was one of those people. I put my hand up. I thought Burnie would would probably win the game today in a tight one, based on the fact that Laycock and Lee have been outstanding the last 4 weeks. Their midfield is certainly emerging as one of the premier midfields in the competition with Shackleton and Monday and Banham. But unfortunately, their second-tier midfielders are still only 17 and 18. So next year and the year after, look for Burnie to certainly take a stranglehold of this competition.
All right, well, let's cross down. The presentations have just started for the Premiership team.
And Wayne Parker, representing the Kazali family. Without further ado, we've got plenty of medals to present here today. And firstly, this is to go to a man who's had a wonderful year behind the sticks, or in front of the sticks indeed. Another 100 goals to Brian Finch, the winner of the 2011 Hudson Medal. To present the Hudson Medal is Dominic Baker. In fact, it's Sean Young. Firstly, guys, before we get to the medals, we're going to present to the commiserations to Cade Mundy. If you can just come up and have a couple of words here, medal to you. The representative, a big round of applause, folks, for the Burnie Dockers today. Kate, commiserations, mate. Congratulations on the year. It's been a wonderful last month.
Yeah, obviously won't talk too much about that, but obviously today, congratulations to the Launceston Football Club, not only in the seniors, but obviously the Carlton world. It's a credit to the footy club and obviously the community as well, and obviously that's somewhere where we want to get to. And yeah, to Anthony and the boys, congratulations on the day.
Thanks very much, Cade. A big round of applause for the Burnie Dockers. They've been superb, not only this season, especially in the last month. Came, saw and conquered 2 weeks ago, and it's been a wonderful 2011. This time we will bring up the Hudson Medal winner. Congratulations. A big round of applause to Brian Finch. The next medal capping off a wonderful season. We saw this presented just early in the game. He grabbed his medal, put it around his neck, took it off again, ran back into the change rooms. I'd like to ask Dominic Baker up here to present this year's Tassie medal for 2011. And it goes to Timmy Bristow.
Today we held the count for the Tassie medal, and it's my honour to present that to Tim Bristow.
Yeah, obviously a very big shock on that one. All today's worth is that teamwork. Bad luck to the boys there. We've had some great games throughout the year, and they definitely gave it everything they got today. And well done to the boys for a great year, topped everything off. We've had a massive pre-season, and after the heartbreaker last year's prelim final, we weren't going to let this one slip, so good on you, boys.
If I could now invite Graham Lee up to the dais, please. The next medal is the Bulldog medal, and it was a really tough decision today. And Graham, I know you've got the winner there for us. Well, I've got it. The winner was a tough decision, as we mentioned, split round between 4 or 5 players, a really tough job. But going to a man who did a really good job in the ruck going forward, he was outstanding today, Nathan O'Donoghue. Nathan, congratulations on the year, mate. You're actually even taller than me. We'll just rip that away. Fantastic effort by the boys. Just a really, really good effort. What happened a couple of weeks ago? Just run us through the mindset going through to coming back to Clarence, and not only that, this week in particular.
I think last time we played Burnie, I mean, you've got to give Burnie credit. They were good. They were very good. But it's sort of, we probably went in a little bit too confident. Which, I mean, you can blame the year, the 18 in a row, or you can just, you know, blame each other. But, yeah, it sort of woke us up a little bit, and we come out firing against Clarence and sort of tried to take that momentum into the grand final.
Without putting all the light on yourself, it was a big job. We've known what Burnie have come to play this year, especially with their tall timber. How'd you set yourself going up against all the likes today of Laycock, Stevenson, etc.? They're a big unit.
Yeah, no, they've been good, and they've hit form at the right time of the year. Sort of their last 8 or 9 games coming into the finals, they've been very good. So, yeah, there's really no way to prepare. You just go out there and sort of try your best and hope they play bad and you play good.
Thanks very much, Nathan O'Donoghue. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. The Baldock medal winner. So, without further ado, here present the Premiership medals today is Wayne Park. We'll get all the little kids up. We're going to get the medals started here today. So if we get all the players ready here, the Oz Kickers will present the medals. And starting up with number 1. He was a live wire last week. He was terrific early especially. And today, Sonny Whiting doing a wonderful job again. Midway through the second quarter last week, we thought this bloke was nearly knocked out. He played a stellar game against Clarence, and he was wonderful again today, number 2, Sam O'Keefe. Number 4 is Dan Ellis. Welcome aboard. Another one of the unsung heroes, Chris Savage, number 5.
How many players from this game are a chance of being drafted? A lot of young talent, and look, Launceston boys are obviously very happy with their work.
Absolutely, and well, they've got every reason to be. The taste of Tasmania at the moment. And, well, when we talk about exciting young players, Jesse Lonergan, he just plays such an aggressive, mature brand of football. Still only 16, it's hard to believe.
That is hard to believe. Look at the size of him. He's built like a 23-year-old bodybuilder. He's got some serious muscles on him. There was a piece of play in the middle of the ground that was just super impressive.
One of the skillful left footers, one of the many skillful left footers in this Launceston lineup. And he certainly contributed again this afternoon. Kurt McKay.
Number 9, he was very good, especially early, is Jordan Harris.
Loved his work in the back pocket, team of the year, and important part of the Blues defence.
Good to see the young Oz Kick kids coming on and getting a run.
We enjoyed this guy's game last week and very good again today. Number 10, Ryan DeVisa.
One of Flash's favourites there. Had his hands full with Rowan Baldock, but thought he held up really well.
Yeah, Baldock got off to a flyer, didn't he? But young man here, he certainly held his own and kept Baldock to 3 goals.
Number 11, speaking of Sauce, the Butcher, Gary Shipton.
Well, he's a favourite at Launceston. He's a favourite across the state, just the way he goes about his football, Gary Shipton. And very deserving of all the success that comes his way.
Anyone that works as a butcher will always be the people's champ, Macca, no doubt about that.
Another classy goal today, kicked a couple, in fact, Jackson Thurlow.
One of the exciting youngsters. We heard him speak before about how much he loves the Launceston Football Club. And terrific to see the next generation coming through.
Or is he one of those likely draft types, do you think?
Oh, possibly. We get excited about these things. Let's wait and see.
13, Brian Finch.
Likely draft type this one, do you think, Jeeves?
Well, probably not in the Cameron Thurley mode. I just couldn't believe how fast he was today, Brian Finch. His speed in that first 15 metres is just electric.
Yeah, stellar season, century goal kicker.
Another one of the young big men here for Launceston, Joseph Gronewegan.
So he's the son of football royalty up in these parts, and he performed well today. It was a chop out for O'Donoghue in the ruck, and he's had a good year.
The winner of the Tassie medal, Timmy Bristow.
Really good, I thought, early, Tim Bristow, and he's just that different option. Just that first step of his, runs around, there he is, offloading the cap, did well.
He's quite tall as well, Bristow. He's quite tall from midfield. He'd be 6'2", 6'3", which is unusual.
Michael Sinclair.
So here's the other left footer. We often get Sinclair and McCabe confused. They both left footers use the ball in a similar way, play similar position, but add that sort of depth and versatility to the Blues midfield.
Another one of the veterans at Launceston. He's won a few flags for forwards. Another one today for Beau Green.
So Beau Green, the veteran, played his 200th game earlier in the year, fought his way back from knee reconstructions. Terrific to see him get this sort of result late in his career.
It's quiet today, but his job on Cameron Thurley last week was super impressive.
The better of the two brothers, he told me earlier, of course, Gene Savage.
Another one of the veterans, played a lot of football with the Launceston Football Club. Of course, his brother Brennan plays for Clarence. He's had a couple of flags with the Roos. Now Gene gets his turn.
Having some issues getting the medal over his big head there. It's quite humorous.
You're saying something about the size of his head or the size of the medals?
Maybe the medal strap was.
He's a pretty big boy, Gene. Wasn't he impressive? I thought, especially in the second half, just his ability to run and contest, and his skills have really come a long way.
Well, he's got a big motor, huge aerobic capacity. Ran out this final.
Best on ground today, Nathan O'Donoghue.
Well, we spoke about him pre-match, and he really did stand up. Thoroughly deserved Baldock medalist out there this afternoon. His job against Laycock was just so important.
Oh, he was amazing. It's just unfortunate that David Lithgow was a man to call him
here today, Josh Woolley coming
best
for
on
a
ground.
medal.
Really liked this guy's game. Started on Lee, kicked the first goal for the Blues. He's an impressive type. But not impressive enough to get the handshake.
Another good Scottsdale product here, Joe Boyce.
So the one change from the team which won the preliminary final last week, Joe Boyce. He was a popular player up in these parts. You hear the crowd getting excited, and he was a good contributor out there this afternoon, one of many.
Number 32, Corey Shepherd.
So Corey Shepherd, another one of those unsung heroes for the Blues. Played his role, did it well. Was involved a few scoring opportunities in the second half. Missed out on the handshake again.
I was going to say not too many handshakes coming from the youngsters.
Scott Stevens.
So the skipper, and in many ways the spiritual leader of this football club. He just loves the navy blue and white, and he gets a handshake too for his troubles.
Well, it's all about respect for the leader. Very smart from that young man.
Can we please welcome Wayne Park to the stage? And to the coach of the Launceston Football Club today, a big round of applause for Anthony Taylor. Just a quick word, Anthony, how's the feeling?
Yeah, look, commiserations to the Burnie guys. There's not much I can say that's going to affect how they're feeling at the moment. I've been there in the same position myself as a player, and you just need to keep your chins up. 11 teenagers or whatever, you've got a huge future ahead of you, and stick together, and we won't be looking forward to playing you in the future. But well done today, and on especially the back end of the year, and commiserations again, Planty.
Without further ado, can I welcome Dominic Baker up to the stage with the Premiership Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to hold over the 2011 West Point TSL Cup to the Launceston Football Club.
You better come up there, boys.
Stark contrast, isn't it, Brett Jeeves? The agony and the ecstasy. You've got the Blues up there celebrating with the cup. You had the Burnie Dockers filing past in the foreground. They've got a lot to take away from their season. They didn't get the ultimate reward, but we'll focus on Launceston for the moment as we see them huddled in there for the photo. These are moments that they'll remember in 10, 20 years' time, isn't it?
Well, it brings you together. There's, it's a sort of thing you end up your 10-year reunions and your 20-year reunions. And the good thing about a reunion is that there's always a good time to be had, which is terrific. But you can just see the elation on Anthony Taylor's face, and now, of course, all the players. This is ultimately what these boys have worked hard for. They'll start their pre-season again in probably 6 or 7 weeks' time. And let's keep it in perspective that it is amateur sport. These guys aren't well-paid professionals. So to commit all that time to this cause, it probably means even more as an amateur sports person.
Yeah, they certainly give their heart and soul, and it is a long season. These guys would have started their pre-seasons sometime October last year. Of course, they were so disappointed in the way things panned out in last year's final series. They made a pledge to each other not to let the same thing happen again. They did everything they could during the year. They finished on top of the ladder. They won every game in the home and away season. A slight hiccup a fortnight ago, but really it has been the perfect season. And in the end, there really could only be one winner, and that deserving winner was the Launceston Football Club.
Yeah, look, I mean, they have been terrific. As you said, there was that slight hiccup, but they've got a great mix of experience, and we've discussed Finch and Stevens and these sorts of boys, and then of course the youth that are coming through, and that's important. And I think that's why Clarence have been so dominant over such a long period of time, in that they've always had a player to come in. So, hopefully Launceston will keep Brian Finch on, and he'll work with a promising full forward and mentor him to the point where he can leave the game in the knowledge that he's got someone there that is able to take his spot.
Terrific to see so many supporters still here as well. And of course, you would remember we were talking about it in the car on the way up this morning, going along to the 1999 Grand Final and seeing Glenorchy players running around winning a flag. Even for the players not being involved today, they see this sort of success, they see how happy the senior players are, and they think, well, maybe one day I can get that as well.
Look, it's certainly, there's guys that have missed out on this grand final, and as you say, the drive that comes from not being able to play in a grand final, I've experienced it myself in cricket, it does push you even harder. Your pre-season becomes longer, you're just doing all those little 1%ers that hopefully you can force your way into something that is extremely special.
They are the yardstick now, Launceston. I mean, we've seen Burnie get thereabouts. Clarence, be interesting to see what they produce next year, but they've got every chance of going back-to-back, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. The young guys obviously gain massive amount of experience from being the premiers. I guess is it hard going from being the hunter to the hunter? Does that affect the way they approach the game mentally? I'm not sure. But again, just to reiterate that their strength is their experienced guys, and if they stick around the club in some capacity, you would think that mentally the young guys coming through would be able to adapt to that.
Many clubs seem to fall victim to the premiership hangover. It's what it's called. Do you see any prospect of that happening with Launceston based on what you know?
I don't think Anthony Taylor would allow that. He seems like a very well-shaped human being. He's obviously very humble. He pinpointed Coach Brent Plant, offered his commiserations, and I don't think that sort of person will allow these young guys and of course experienced guys to get ahead of themselves. They play a great brand of football, and I think if they stay true to that, then obviously they are a genuine chance of going back-to-back next year.
And on the flip side, you've been on the receiving end of grand final defeats. How do you think the Dockers will be feeling at the moment?
Well, having such a young list, I think that it's an invaluable experience. Had they come in as with 11 or 12 teenagers, I think they would have won the game sort of 2 or 3 years ahead of when they're actually due to win. Just a fantastic coaching structure in Brent Plant, and they, I think next year and the year after, will certainly be pushing for premiership honours.
And it can sound hollow, but sometimes you do almost have to lose one to really appreciate winning one.
Yeah, no doubt. I really like obviously their young core group of players. They've got a lot of talent there. Damon Smith's game today was outstanding. Got a lot of the footy. His pre-season, I would imagine, would be spent kicking as much football as he can, because he does turn over the ball a little bit. But we have a look at the footage here of the Launceston boys really enjoying this premiership win.
I think they're going to give the song another nudge here, Jeevesy. They didn't need much encouragement. They've been asked to turn one on for the cameras. You can see a few refreshments already flowing, and all the supporters getting involved as well.
Well, which is great to see everyone involved. One giant huddle there in the Launceston rooms would just be terrific, because I'm sure they all know the words to the song.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great to see Sam Rundle in there as well. He was the unlucky one forced out. Won a Colts premiership this morning. but I'm sure he'd have mixed feelings. Will Campbell missed a lot of the year injured. Certainly would have been a part of their best 22. A very happy team at Launceston. Champagne getting ready to go. It's what you play competitive sport for, Brett, and whether it's cricket or football or whatever it is, there's no better feeling than that ultimate success, is it?
Oh, that's right. You bit of champagne flowing, and it really gets everyone singing voices in good rhythmic energy, I guess. No, look, outstanding to see.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we've got time for here at the ABC. Thanks for joining us, not only today, but all through the year. Make sure you tune in next year. Thanks for your company.
Welcome again to Super Series Bowls and to one of the big games on the national calendar. It's the women's singles final of the Australian Indoor. Tweed Heads hosting the women's final for the 9th time. I think we've probably got two fairly twitchy players about to take to the rink. Vicky Turner, playing out of the Warilla Bowls Club, will certainly start as the underdog as she takes on the 3-time champion, Karen Murphy. Well, settling into this game quickly is going to be so important, Shuey, but I think one player is going to be more nervous than the other.
Vicky Turner, she'll be shaking in the knees today, playing against the biggest name in women's bowls in Australia, Karen Murphy, but she's played well, Steve, to make the final, so that's saying something for Vicky.
And from Karen's point of view, to make it 4 in a row, what's she got to do?
I think just be the Karen Murphy. She knows that her opponent will be very nervous. I think Vicky needs to relax, go out there and enjoy herself. She'll be the underdog, but we'll have the crowd on her side.
Should be an interesting final. Quentin Hull standing by to bring you the first set with Shuey.
Steve, thank you. As ever, a pleasure to be here at Tweed Heads on one of the marquee days of Australian bowls, the indoor and the women's final. And Pam Hockings from the Engadine Bowls Club in southern Greater Sydney has the pleasure of marking this final between the 3-time champ Karen Murphy and Vicky Turner from Warilla, a club pretty close to the home base of Karen Murphy on the New South Wales south coast. It's Turner's biggest day in her bowls career, but yet just another big day for the Queen of Australian women's bowls, Karen Murphy, winner in 2009, 2008, 2007, but not last year. Katrina Wright, the reigning champ. But Murphy a chance to make it 4 out of 5 years here today, and that's a fine way to start. And how vital the opening stages will be, particularly for Vicky Turner against one of the poster players of recent times in the history of Australian bowls. They don't get much tougher than this if you're a women lawn bowler trying to beat Karen Murphy on the Tweed Heads indoor rink on finals day at the Australian Indoor. Oh, two terrific starting bowls from Karen Murphy. A couple of programs ago, we saw Vicky Turner defeat Chloe Stewart in 2 tight sets. A great win for Turner over the 15-year-old from Victoria.
How far is Vicky's last one, please, Pam?
2.5 feet behind.
So.
And here is Chloe watching on, having been beaten in the semi-final, but she's got a bright future ahead of her. And Karen Murphy defeating another teenager in the semi-final. Too good for the Australian Open champion Lisa Phillips. And without going over the top, Shuey, it's almost like a club cricketer being asked to bat in a test match with Bradman to date for Vicky Turner. Beat Karen Murphy in the Australian Indoor final.
Yes, good analogy. And Murphy missing the line really badly, Quentin. But she's got 3 right near the jack, and she looks like potentially scoring a full count of 4 on the opening end. Worst possible start for Vicky Turner. She must be extremely nervous. Adrenaline's pumping. She hasn't not able to hold the bowls back. She's been overweight with every bowl, and this is not going to change the head at all. So it's a disappointing end for Vicky Turner. She's only played Karen Murphy once, and that was in pairs, and had a victory against Karen. So
well, there you go. Something to give her some confidence, but her first 4 bowls won't help whatsoever, eroding any bit of confidence that there may be there, because full counts coming up for Murphy, you'd expect, in this opening end of the final.
You would expect most players, really a good tip, you'd follow the experienced player. Murphy's playing the forehand, and Vicky Turner playing the other side of the rink, and Murphy's looking for number 4.
Good bowl.
Not her best bowl, but still should be good enough for 4.
4, mate?
Yeah. 4.
So in the quest for title number 4 at the Australian Indoor, Karen Murphy picks up 4 shots in the opening end of the 2011 final. Four to Murphy to start. And Shuey, what would you say to Vicky Turner if you had the chance right now? She's a rank underdog here. She's conceded a maximum in the opening end. What are the core